Chapter 1337. Yang Ming smiled slightly. You just wait for our triumphant return. Chen Mengyan ignored Yang Ming's nonsense and pulled him quickly in the direction of the backstage. Zhang Bin was envious at the side. This boss is so badass. Their family relationship is so harmonious, unlike my own family. Thinking of the relationship between Zhao Sisi and Wang Mei, Zhang Bin had some headaches. Su Qianqing saw Yang Ming running over with Chen Mengyan, and the smile on his face immediately became brilliant. At the critical moment, we still have to go together. Yang Ming, I'm counting on you again this time. Am I not duty-bound? I was born to accompany my wife on the field. Yang Ming made up his mind to coax Chen Mengyan, so his words were a bit mushy. However, he also secretly warned Su Qianqing to see if Su Qianqing could understand his words. Chen Mengyan's face was red. She gently hit Yang Ming and did not speak. Su Qianqing listened to Yang Ming's words. Why did he feel that something was wrong? It was reasonable for Yang Ming to accompany Chen Mengyan to say this, but Yang Ming accompanied Lin Jiyun on stage before. If Yang Ming said that he specifically accompanied his wife on stage, then what was Lin Jiyun? Did she also become his wife? Thinking of this, Su Qianqing secretly said, Yang Ming, don't blame me for playing dirty tricks on you. Who asked you to be so close to Lin Jiyun? If you stayed away from her, I definitely wouldn't sow discord. Now that you are hindering me from picking up girls, then I have to play dirty tricks on you. Hee, Yang Ming, you can't simply say this, especially in front of little Chin. Su Qianqing pretended not to care and joked, previously, you accompanied Lin Jiyun on stage. If you say this, what would little Chin think? Xiao Chen, you have to keep an eye on Yang Ming. Right now, he's the idol of all the girls in school. How could Yang Ming not understand the meaning of Su Qianqing's words? The more he thought about it, the more he felt that this guy was shameless. He actually complained about him in front of Chen Mengyan. It's okay, I don't mind. Chen Mengyan smiled slightly. Jiyun and I are very good friends. Jiyun often lives in my house. How can I not know if Yang Ming has a relationship with her? Chen Mengyan thought to herself, of course I know that they have a relationship. They even slept together. Why do you care so much? Hearing Chen Mengyan say this, Su Qianqing was embarrassed. He didn't expect Chen Mengyan to answer like this. He couldn't help but be a little embarrassed. However, he got an unexpected gain. That was, the relationship between Chen Mengyan and Lin Jiyun was very good. They were even close to the level of close friends. Therefore, it was normal for Yang Ming and Lin Jiyun to have a good relationship. It seemed that he thought too much. Lin Jiyun and Chen Mengyan were close friends. How could Yang Ming have a bad relationship with Lin Jiyun? Since Chen Mengyan and Lin Jiyun were so close, then Lin Jiyun and Yang Ming should have nothing to do with each other. Thinking of this, Su Qianqing breathed a sigh of relief. Did I misunderstand Yang Ming? However, there was nothing wrong with being careful. Besides, Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan performing together was also expected. Yang Ming would appear on stage again, and he could bring a small climax to the party. In this way, he could make up for his previous mistake of not using people well. The next program. Can you guess what it is? Lai Mingxiu was not like Ning Qin. He had no prejudice against Yang Ming. He just happened to catch up with Lai Mingxiu's announcement, so he kept the audience guessing. In fact, this was also Su Qianqing's previous arrangement. He was also afraid that Ning Qin would mess it up. Guess. The students below the stage all showed a surprised and astonished expression. From elementary school to university, every time they watched a performance, they would watch what the host said. They had never been asked to guess the program. Therefore, these people were very surprised by this. Hee, our new popularity king, Yang Ming, is on stage again. Lai Mingshu certainly didn't expect the people under the stage to guess anything. He just wanted to motivate everyone, so he quickly revealed the answer. Yang Ming brought his girlfriend, who is also one of the campus belles on our school's BBS, Chen Mengyan. Together, they will bring us a poem recital. Yang Ming. Yang Ming. Yang Ming. The audience immediately began to boil again. They had watched several boring programs before, so everyone was a little tired. Suddenly, when they heard that Yang Ming was going on stage again, it was like being injected with a cardiac stimulant. Everyone's eyes showed excitement. Although they heard that the performance was a poem recital, which did not seem to be as wonderful as the previous knife throwing, out of support for Yang Ming, they did not care what Yang Ming performed. As long as they could see Yang Ming come on stage, they were already very happy. Yang Ming, you haven't told me what poem you are going to recite. Just now, she was busy refuting Su Qianqing, so Chen Mengyan forgot to ask Yang Ming what program he was going to perform. At this time, when she was about to go on stage, she remembered and was a little anxious. Both of us have not rehearsed. Don't mess it up and become a joke. Do we still need to rehearse? We have already established a tacit understanding. I know what you are thinking when you look at me. Yang Ming smiled and said, let's go. There is no problem. Let me think about what song you are going to play. Chen Mengyan saw that Yang Ming still had not thought about what song to play, and she was about to cry. At this time, he was still not in a hurry. She glared at him helplessly. You still haven't thought about it. Aren't you making us embarrass ourselves together? Embarrass ourselves? How can it be? Yang Ming waved his hand. How about this? You play A Lifetime with You in a while. A lifetime with you. Chen Mengyan was stunned. She did not expect why Yang Ming wanted her to play this song. This was a song that was popular in 2003. Yang Ming nodded. Because I have you in a lifetime. Be good and listen to me. You will play this in a while. Chen Mengyan was blushed by Yang Ming. She was a little embarrassed. What is wrong with Yang Ming today? From the beginning, he kept saying some mushy words of love. She didn't know about Yang Ming's previous feelings. She thought that Yang Ming took the wrong medicine. Don't mess around. This is a large-scale party in school. Chen Mengyan was afraid that Yang Ming would do something shocking when he went on stage, so she quickly reminded him. I have just gone on stage once. If I mess around, why would the student union let me go on stage? Yang Ming comforted Chen Mengyan. Don't worry. I know what to do. Then you want me to play this. What do you want to do? Chen Mengyan subconsciously felt that there must be a purpose for Yang Ming to temporarily change the song to With You Forever. As for what this purpose was, Chen Mengyan still couldn't guess it. It's still a poem recitation with music. Yang Ming said, it's just that I don't like the song you chose before. Why aren't you on stage? Ning Chen ran to Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan in a bad mood. She put her hands on her waist and stared at Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan with hatred. We are going on stage now. Chen Mengyan saw that the host was anxious. She quickly pulled Yang Ming and smiled at Ning Chen. Yang Ming frowned. What is this chick's attitude? Looking at her menstrual cycle expression, it seems like someone owes her a few million. You are still a student union cadre. What kind of quality is that? Ning Chen snorted. You have no concept of time at all. What is it like to be whispering sweet nothings backstage? Although Ning Chen's voice was not loud, it could be heard clearly in the quiet backstage. Chen Mingyan's face was stiff, and she lowered her head. Yang Ming was a little unhappy after listening. Pay attention to what you say. What do you mean by whispering sweet nothings? Which eye of yours saw it? Besides, Chen Mengyan is my wife. What does it have to do with you if I whisper sweet nothings with her? What's wrong with being a student union cadre? Even the President of the United States has to marry a wife and have children. You. Ning Chen was choked by Yang Ming for a while and didn't know what to say. Indeed, they are in a relationship. What's wrong with being intimate? It seems that I really don't have the right to control it, but she was not convinced in her heart. She had long found Yang Ming unpleasant. She snorted and said, "No quality. I don't know what Su Qianqing's vision is. He even got this kind of trash to host the program." Yang Ming snorted. "Yang Ming, talk less." Chen Mengyan pulled Yang Ming's hand. Ning Chen was also a celebrity in the school. She had a good relationship with Su Qianqing. Chen Mengyan didn't want to cause trouble. "Well, Ning Chen, Yang Ming is like this. You don't have to care about him. Do you think it's okay just because you said it's okay? Who are you? A student council president of the Department of Economics and Management, and a vice president at that. How can you control the head of the Department of Arts of our student council?" Ning Chen didn't give Chen Mengyan face at all. She found Yang Ming unpleasant because of Su Qianqing. Now that Yang Ming also scolded Su Qianqing, Ning Chen immediately exploded and pointed at Yang Ming. "What did you say? Do you have the guts to say it again? This is not over. You're just a cadre of the student union. You really think you're something?" Yang Ming glanced at Ning Chen disdainfully. He didn't understand if there was a problem with her brain. "I don't have time to care about you now. Let's talk about it later." "No. You can't go. You have to make it clear to me today. If you don't apologize to me and Brother Qianqing, this is not over." Ning Chen grabbed Yang Ming's clothes and didn't let him leave. Yang Ming frowned. He didn't expect this Ning Chen to be like a crazy woman when she went crazy. If it weren't in the school's auditorium, Yang Ming really wanted to kick her to vent his anger. However, Chen Mengyan was by his side. She didn't like him to fight, so Yang Ming also endured it. Su Qianqing was proud that his plan succeeded. After listening to Chen Mengyan's words, he had a general understanding of the relationship between Yang Ming, Chen Mengyan, and Lin Jiyun. He secretly rejoiced that Yang Ming and Lin Jiyun should have no other relationship other than being good friends. As he was considering whether to have a good relationship with Yang Ming, he heard a quarrel coming from the backstage. Su Qianqing didn't know what was going on, but as the overall person in charge of the art festival party, he absolutely didn't allow any discordant phenomenon at the party. So, when he heard the quarrel, he subconsciously ran to the backstage. When he arrived, he found that Ning Chen was crazily dragging Yang Ming and not letting him go. "Ning Chen. What are you doing?" Su Qianqing was furious. This Yang Ming was about to perform on stage. Lai Mingshu had already gone to announce, but she was still dragging Yang Ming here. "Isn't this making me look bad? Quickly let go and let Yang Ming perform on stage." "No, he must apologize to me and you." Ning Chen was relentless. She thought that if she defended Su Qianqing like this, Su Qianqing would be very moved. Maybe he would be with her. "What does it have to do with me?" Su Qianqing was stunned, but he didn't have time to ask in detail. "You let go of him first. If there is anything, wait until the party is over." "Impossible. He said that you have no vision and chose me as the host. He must apologize for what he said." Ning Chen still didn't see the situation clearly. She still pulled Yang Ming and shouted, "I don't need to say this at all. Chairman Su, I am really sorry that you chose such a person to be the host. Yang Ming shrugged and said to Su Qianqing. Su Qianqing was about to explode. He had just made up his mind to maintain a good relationship with Yang Ming. This Ning Chen actually jumped up and down because of this. It seems that Yang Ming is right. I really have no vision. Why did I let her host the party? Pa! Su Qianqing stepped forward and slapped Ning Chen. He shouted coldly, "Let go. You hit me." Ning Chen looked at Su Qianqing inconceivably. She didn't expect that he would hit her, and the reason was actually for this Yang Ming. Ning Chen felt that she was wronged. Obviously, she grabbed Yang Ming to protect Su Qianqing. In the end, not only did Su Qianqing not praise her, but he gave her a big slap. How could Ning Chen accept this? Ning Chen was completely dumbfounded at this time. She couldn't care about Yang Ming. She covered her face and cried. Su Qianqing didn't have time to care about her. He smiled and walked to Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan. He smiled and said, "I'm sorry. I treat Ning Chen like a sister. She is spoiled by me. Don't mind it. Hurry up and perform on stage." This Ning Chen liked Su Qianqing. Yang Ming could be 80% sure now. This could be seen from the way she looked at Su Qianqing. Yang Ming shook his head secretly. He felt sorry for Ning Chen in his heart. Su Qianqing had already made it clear enough. He treated her as a sister, which meant that he didn't like her at all. He believed that this kind of hint was not only once or twice, but Ning Chen was still stubborn. It was really a case of the onlooker not seeing clearly. However, Su Qianqing was really good. In order to pursue Lin Jiyun and please me and Chen Mengyan, he could actually abandon Ning Chen, a girl who was deeply in love with him. He didn't hesitate to slap her in exchange for the favor of me and Chen Mengyan. Yang Ming was also very clear about the reason why Su Qianqing wanted to please me and Chen Mengyan. Previously, it could be seen that Su Qianqing was hostile to me. Su Qianqing asked me to accompany Chen Mengyan to perform in the program. Most probably, the purpose and motive were impure. It was true that I was very popular with my classmates. I can bring a climax to the party when I go on stage again. However, Su Qianqing asked me to go on stage with Chen Mengyan. It was definitely not for this purpose. His purpose was impure. It could be guessed that Su Qianqing wanted to use me to perform with Chen Mengyan to give Lin Jiyun a warning. That was to let her know that Yang Ming was a person who had a girlfriend, and she should keep a certain distance. Of course, this was Yang Ming's guess. Whether Su Qianqing had this idea or not, Yang Ming didn't know. However, Su Qianqing was now trying to please me. This matter was real. After listening to Chen Mengyan's words, Su Qianqing changed his mind and made him feel that I no longer posed a threat to his pursuit of Lin Jiyun. Maybe I can even help, so Su Qianqing began to please me. This Ning Chen is also unlucky enough to become the victim of Su Qianqing's goodwill. Yang Ming shook his head. A pitiful person must have a hateful side. She is too self-righteous. There is no harm in teaching her a lesson. As for why Yang Ming could change his impression of Jing Xiaolu and have such a bad impression of this Ning Chen, it was because she and Jing Xiaolu were essentially two kinds of people. When Jing Xiaolu first offended Yang Ming, it could be described as a child who was not sensible. Moreover, Jing Xiaolu's arrogant posture was fake. The girls who lived in her environment always had a kind of resistance to outsiders. In order to protect themselves, they had to make themselves seem stronger. But Ning Chen was different. It could be seen from Ning Chen's dress that this girl was completely a proud girl. Now, she was a cadre of the school's student union and the host of various campus activities. She was completely favored by everyone. The arrogance she showed was completely a kind of contemptuous attitude of looking down on others. She felt that everyone was inferior to her and her lover, Su Qianqing. Yang Ming naturally didn't have a good impression of this kind of pretentious girl, let alone sympathy and pity her. He just felt that she was reaping what she had sown. Chen Mengyan also had resentment toward Ning Chen in her heart. At that time, she was afraid of delaying the performance, so she decided to settle the matter peacefully. However, Ning Chen was unforgiving, which made her very annoyed. But now, seeing Ning Chen being beaten and crying pitifully, Chen Mingyan's resentment disappeared. President Su, this matter is not entirely Ning Chen's fault. My Yang Ming is also at fault. It's okay. I am teaching my sister a lesson. It is normal. You don't have to think too much. Go on stage. I wish you a successful performance. Su Qianqing said with a smile. For Chen Mingyan's my Yang Ming was somewhat inexplicable. Chen Mengyan is not a particularly bold girl. Why did she suddenly say such a thing? Although my relationship with Chen Mengyan is not a secret in school, I still won't say something too intimate in front of outsiders. Did Chen Mengyan change her personality today? However, after a slight hesitation, Yang Ming understood. Chen Mengyan still holds grudges. Although Ning Chen was beaten, and she couldn't say anything, she must still be brooding about Ning Chen's previous sentence. What does it look like to be so lovey-dovey? Now, the sentence my Yang Ming was probably said for Ning Chen to hear. It meant that Yang Ming and I are family. So what if we are lovey-dovey? Thinking of this, Yang Ming couldn't help but smile. He didn't expect Chen Mengyan to have such a way of speaking that hid a needle in silk floss. Chapter 1338. Su Qianqing's current posture was completely to please Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan. He felt that if he slapped Ning Chen, he could get the favor of Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan. To be honest, his slap was in vain. Yang Ming was clear about this Su Qianqing's conspiracy. How could Yang Ming not know what he was planning in his heart? He sacrificed a girl who was in love with him to please her friends in order to pursue another girl. Such a man was so despicable that Yang Ming looked down on him. If Yang Ming didn't have a very bad impression of Ning Chen, he might have beaten this Su Qianqing with righteous indignation at this time. But now, one was willing to be beaten, and the other was willing to be beaten. Seeing that Ning Chen was completely blindly pleasing Su Qianqing, Yang Ming also didn't have a good impression of her. If he slapped her, then so be it. She deserved it. He wouldn't get involved in other people's family matters. Even Yang Ming wanted to shout, "Good slap," but Chen Mengyan would definitely feel that he was too bad. Yang Ming decided not to say it. On Chen Mengyan's side, although she didn't have a good impression of Ning Chen, seeing that Su Qianqing could actually treat a girl who was pursuing him like this and directly slapped her, Chen Mengyan couldn't help but sympathize with Ning Chen. She was even more disgusted with Su Qianqing. How can this person live so shamelessly? Thinking that Yang Ming had never hit her, Chen Mengyan felt sweet in her heart. Although Yang Ming had never been merciful to others, no matter how fierce she was to Yang Ming and how she messed with him, he would always welcome her with a smile. He didn't dare to touch her. Even when she made his hand swell with the door in the dormitory, Yang Ming didn't say a word and kept apologizing to her. It seems that my choice is really right. Chen Mengyan secretly felt ashamed, and at the same time, her heart became more tender. Indeed, he had been too headstrong in the past. Now that he thought about it, he was still too young and couldn't see through these things. But now, even if Lin Jiyun and Zhou Jiejie joined in, her position in Yang Ming's mind didn't decrease at all. Instead, it became more important. The fact that Yang Ming was willing to accompany him on stage again proved everything. Looking back at the crying Ning Chen and Su Qianqing, who stood aside and watched her and Yang Ming go on stage with a smile, Chen Mengyan couldn't help but shake her head. Even if Yang Ming was devoted to her, if he was like Su Qianqing, who hit and scolded women as he wished, then it was better not to have him. So with Ning Chen as a comparison, Chen Mengyan suddenly felt satisfied. Seeing Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan go on stage, Su Qianqing's smile suddenly disappeared, and his face changed into a caring and heartbroken look. He turned to Ning Chen and said, "Little Ningning, don't cry. Brother Qianqing has no choice but to hit you." Originally, Ning Chen was even more aggrieved and unhappy that Su Qianqing ignored her after hitting her. She kept wiping her tears. Just as she was about to despair, Su Qianqing was gentle to her as if he had changed into another person. When Ning Chen heard Su Qianqing's address to her, her heart was warm. She stopped crying and said with some grievances, "Why is there no choice? Why do you have to hit me?" Su Qianqing lowered his head and helped Ning Chen wipe her tears. He comforted her, "Ning Chen, you are the host of this party, so who are you representing now? You represent the student union. You represent the student union, which means you represent me. In the eyes of outsiders, you are my person. Your words and deeds also represent me. If you yell at the actors backstage like this, how will others see our student union? If it reaches the ears of the school leaders, what will they think? Maybe they will think that I connive with my subordinates, and it is not impossible to take off my hat as the student union president." When Ning Chen heard Su Qianqing say, "You are my person," she was very happy in her heart. Although she knew that Su Qianqing's words did not have any special meaning, Ning Chen still couldn't help but be happy. She was a person who liked illusions. She also took Su Qianqing's words as a hint to comfort herself. Later, when Su Qianqing explained the reason for hitting her, Ning Chen immediately felt relieved. Indeed, it was very disgraceful for her to yell and mock the students who were performing on stage. She represented the student union. If she did this, it would discredit Su Qianqing. If the school leaders really knew about this matter, they would most likely blame it on Su Qianqing. Thinking of this, Ning Chen suddenly had a lingering fear. If I really got into trouble, then brother Su Qianqing would be my scapegoat. Ning Chen quickly said, "Brother Qianqing, I'm sorry. I didn't think so much. Is it okay this time? How about I apologize to them when they get off the stage?" For the man she loved, Ning Chen actually made such a low posture, lowered her proud head, and apologized to people who had conflicts with her. It was enough to see the depth of Ning Chen's feelings for Su Qianqing. "No need." Su Qianqing waved his hand. "I have already slapped you just now. They should be satisfied. Does it hurt?" "Little Ningning, I can't help it. Just don't hate your brother Qianqing." Su Qianqing's face was very apologetic. His mouth was also very concerned, but his heart disagreed. He thought, "You are going to apologize. You must not go. I just made you into an image of a bad person. You provoked Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan. I can only show my enthusiasm by slapping you. Only then can I please Chen Mengyan and Yang Ming. If you go and apologize, then what I did before won't have any effect." It had to be said that this Su Qianqing was a very insidious person. Although he didn't like Ning Chen, he had to keep her hanging. He didn't give her an answer, nor did he give her rejection. He made her think about Su Qianqing all the time. If this continued, Su Qianqing could use her to do things for him. How would Ning Chen know so much? She would rather put down her self-esteem and attitude for Su Qianqing. She would rather endure humiliation, but what did she get in return? This was the pitiful part of this girl. However, a pitiful person must have a hateful part. If she could face up to herself and face up to her relationship with Su Qianqing, she would not fall to such a point. She was played by him, and she still thought that he was a good person. Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan walked on the stage side by side. Suddenly, while Chen Mengyan was unprepared, Yang Ming suddenly reached out and grabbed her little hand. Chen Mengyan was suddenly shocked, and her face was crimson. She wanted to shake off Yang Ming's hand, but she suddenly realized that she was on the stage. If she shook off Yang Ming's hand, what would happen if the people under the stage saw it? Wouldn't Yang Ming lose face? Moreover, Chen Mengyan naturally did not reject being held by Yang Ming because she also liked this feeling. It was just that she was suddenly a little shy in public. Seeing Yang Ming's amazing move, the students under the stage suddenly made a wonderful sigh, whistled, and waved the light sticks because many boys felt that Yang Ming did something that they would not dare to do in their lives. He actually dared to hold his girlfriend's hand in front of the whole school. If it were them, would they have such courage? The eyes of those girls were obviously full of jealousy and envy. They appreciated Yang Ming very much, but when they saw Yang Ming holding another girl's hand, they suddenly had a feeling of emptiness in their hearts. While they were envious of Chen Mengyan, they were also full of jealousy. How good would it be if they were on the stage? As for the school leaders, they were watching with a funny and interesting attitude. This year's principal was relatively young, and his mind was more open. Otherwise, it was impossible to completely hand over the art festival party to the student union. The school did not interfere at all. In the university, dating was allowed. Many of the underground relationships in high school were also open and public. According to the current law, college students could get married. Graduate students could take their children to class. What was wrong with dating? Therefore, the principal did not feel that there was anything wrong with it. He just admired this bold boy, so he said to the vice principal who was in charge of moral education next to him, "This student is very bold." When the vice principal of moral education heard the words of the principal, he did not know what to say. He did not know how to answer. What does this mean? Do I agree or disagree? Chapter 1339. The moral education principal in the university usually focused on the students' ideological work, but he would not care about the students falling in love because it was normal to fall in love in university. He simply did not want to care about this. Now that the principal suddenly said this sentence, it was very difficult for him to answer. If he said that this student was not good and should not hold his girlfriend on stage, it seemed that there was no reason. If he said that this student did the right thing, it was also a bit of claptrap. Just as the moral education principal was in a dilemma, the principal continued, "Young people nowadays dare to do things and dare to take responsibility. This is very good. He did this to be responsible for the girl. Look, the students are all very excited. The gala that you organized this year is pretty good." Hearing the principal's praise, the moral education principal immediately had a smile on his face. It turns out that he is praising me. That's good. The moral education principal quickly said, "And I also think this young man is good. Why don't we award the first prize of this program to him? At the very least, this young man's courage is commendable. He can go on stage twice in a row." Oh. The principal was stunned. He didn't look at Yang Ming carefully just now. He only noticed that Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan were holding hands. Now that he heard the moral education principal say this, the principal suddenly remembered. Right, the previous knife-throwing program was also performed by him. Why did he go on stage twice? The previous knife-throwing program was arranged by the student union. According to the students' poll, they want this student named Yang Ming to perform on stage. His partner is one of the campus belles, Lin Jiyun, who was chosen by the students. The moral education principal usually studied these, so he introduced it to the principal. So, they are very popular. When Su Qianqing asked me, I agreed to this program. And, not bad. Now, it is okay to have more activities. I see that many schools have some campus bell selection. Our school can choose once. The principal nodded and agreed with these things. The moral education principal did not expect the principal to support these extracurricular activities so much. He was a little surprised and nodded quickly, saying that he would prepare and organize an official talent contest in the future. Right, you haven't said why this Yang Ming went on stage twice? Asked the principal. Yes, I performed with Lin Jian before. The principal of moral education said, this time, he went on stage with his girlfriend, Chen Mengyan. This Chen Mengyan is the vice president of the student union of the School of Economics and Management. Originally, this program was performed with Yu Jingmin, the president of the student union of the School of Economics and Management. However, Yu Jingmin had an upset stomach at noon and went to the toilet. Therefore, Su Qianqing temporarily adjusted this program to Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan to perform together. Oh. So you're saying that you're improvising? The principal's interest was piqued. Yeah, there shouldn't be much rehearsal time. I wonder how the performance will go. The moral education principal nodded. I can't tell the standard of those well-rehearsed performances. I think this impromptu performance is not bad. I want to watch it carefully. When the principal heard that it was improvised, his interest was immediately piqued. Old Lu, take a look too. Don't doze off. After saying that, the principal patted the vice principal, Lu Weishan, who was in charge of teaching beside him. Lu Weishan adjusted his glasses and smiled. Who said that I won't watch it? Of course, I have to watch this kid's performance carefully. Oh. Do you know him? The principal looked at Lu Weishan strangely. He is my godson. How can I not know him? Lu Weishan smiled. He is also little Qing's godson. There is such a relationship. Then I have to watch it carefully. The principal didn't expect Yang Ming to be Lu Weishan's godson, so he was even more interested. Yang Ming still didn't know that his performance had been selected as the first place. Of course, this was not because of his godson, Lu Weishan, but because his performance had indeed been recognized. Although Chen Mengyan didn't know what Yang Ming was going to recite, since Yang Ming told her not to worry, she would blindly trust Yang Ming. Thinking of this, Chen Mengyan sighed about Ning Chen's experience. Isn't Ning Chen the same? I blindly trust Yang Ming. Ning Chen will also blindly trust Su Qianqing, right? It should be like this. The only difference was that Yang Ming treated her differently from Su Qianqing's treatment of Ning Chen. Chen Mengyan could be sure of this. Sitting in front of the piano, Chen Mengyan took a deep breath. Her white fingers began to move gently between the keys. The melodious music also jumped out from Chen Mengyan's fingertips and floated to the auditorium. Many students who had seen the program list on the campus network in advance were suddenly a little surprised. Shouldn't the accompanying poem be Wang Meng's Long Live Youth? The song set was Mysterious Garden, and now the song is actually Shuimu Hua's My Life with You. Is the program changed? However, thinking that the actor had changed from the previous Yu Jingmin to Yang Ming, it was not surprising that the song was changed. However, they still didn't know if the poem that Yang Ming was going to recite was still Long Live Youth. Accompanied by Chen Mengyan's piano, Yang Ming's deep and powerful male voice with a unique charm sounded, When you are old, your hair is white, and you are sleepy, dozing by the fire, please take down this poem and read it slowly. Recall the softness of your eyes in the past, recall the thick shadow of their past. This was the famous poem, When You Are Old, by the Irish poet Yeats. It was a classic love poem. When Yang Ming's voice sounded, the students under the stage immediately boiled up. On the stage of the school's art festival, in front of all the teachers and students, reciting a love poem for their beloved girl was something that many people wanted to do but didn't dare to do. But Yang Ming did it. Everyone finally understood why the accompaniment song was My Life With You, because the mood of My Life With You was very similar to the mood of When You Are Old. Everyone understood. Chen Mengyan also understood. She only felt that her breathing had become rapid and hot at the moment. Her fingers on the piano keys were also trembling. She wanted to immediately stand up and throw herself into Yang Ming's arms and kiss him. Her own man expressed his love to her in front of tens of thousands of people. Perhaps a woman's happiest moment was this. How many people love your youthful and joyful time, adore your beauty, false or true, but only one person loves your pilgrim soul, loves the painful wrinkles on your aging face. Yang Ming still recited the poem in his voice that was neither humble nor overbearing. This was something that Yang Ming had accidentally seen on the internet. After seeing it, he firmly memorized it and planned to find a suitable opportunity to read it to Chen Mengyan. And now, there was this opportunity. Yang Ming wanted to express his love for Chen Mengyan from the bottom of his heart. Hang your head, by the shining red stove, mournfully and softly tell of the passing of love. On the mountain above your head, it slowly paces, hiding its face in a group of stars. After Yang Ming finished reciting the entire poem, the audience immediately boiled up. This was destined to be the most popular program in this get-together. This was an age of youth, love, and restlessness. The students' yearning for beautiful love made them all moved by Yang Ming's poem. Those with boyfriends and those without boyfriends all hoped that after this party was over, there would be a boy that they fell in love with reading this song, When You're Old, to them. At this time, Chen Mengyan's performance of With You in This Life was also close to the climax of the song. Yang Ming followed Chen Mengyan's rhythm and sang, How many people have admired your young face, but who can withstand the ruthless changes of time? Yang Ming sang as he walked towards Chen Mengyan. He stretched out his hand and made a gesture of holding hands. Then he continued to sing, How many people have come and gone in your life, knowing that you and I will always be by your side. Chen Mengyan could no longer hold back the excitement in her heart. She handed her hand to Yang Ming and stood up with tears streaming down her face. Chapter 1340. There was nothing else that could make Chen Mengyan so emotional and unforgettable in this life. Today, everything that happened on the stage would be an unforgettable scene for her forever. When she was playing the piano just now, her eyes were already sparkling. She stood up with tears in her eyes. As a woman, she was so cared for by her lover. Even if she died, she would be satisfied. Chen Mengyan let Yang Ming hold her hand and walked to the center of the stage. She wanted to jump into Yang Ming's arms now. She had a feeling of hugging and kissing with Yang Ming now. She even wanted to go home and do something that she loved. May all lovers in the world finally find their way together. Yang Ming bowed to the audience and thanked them. Chen Mengyan quickly followed Yang Ming's actions and bowed to the audience with him. Then, she left the stage with Yang Ming. Thunderous applause sounded behind them. This was undoubtedly the most successful program in the entire evening party. It even surpassed the previous knife-throwing performance. Initially, there were many students who weren't optimistic about this poetry recital. They thought that this program wasn't very good. It was just a program to make up the numbers. But now, the students who watched this program not only didn't think that this program was just a stopgap, but they all agreed that this was the most successful program in this art festival. At this moment, Lin Jiyun was also somewhat envious of Chen Mengyan, but she was more happy. Previously, she was worried that Chen Mengyan would be unhappy because she and Yang Ming were on the stage together. Now, Yang Ming openly confessed to Chen Mengyan on the stage. She believed that Chen Mengyan would be very happy. Lin Jiyun wasn't a person who liked to care about gains and losses. If Chen Mengyan was happy, she was happy too. Zhou Jijia and Xiao Qing sat together. She also saw the two programs of Yang Ming. She had some faint sadness in her heart. However, he didn't think too much about it. The relationship between Yang Ming and Qin Mengyan was unshakable. Even Lin Jian was with Yang Ming earlier than her. With today's life, Zhou Jiejie was already very satisfied. She also knew that her current relationship with Yang Ming couldn't be exposed. At least, it couldn't be exposed for now. She didn't want to cause any trouble for Yang Ming, nor did she want to destroy the harmonious relationship of the family at this stage. Although Zhou Jiejie also knew that even if she walked together with Yang Ming blatantly, Yang Ming would not say anything, it was hard to guarantee that there would not be some gossip. Qin Mengyan was Yang Ming's real girlfriend. If she heard this, she would definitely feel uncomfortable in her heart. Now that Qin Mengyan had made a great sacrifice, Zhou Jiejie felt that she had worked hard enough. She didn't want to fight anymore. She didn't want to lose her hard-won love. Jiejie, are you uncomfortable? Xiao Qing saw that Zhou Jiejie didn't speak and thought that she had some thoughts. Xiao Qing wanted to use her own feelings to enlighten her. Zhou Jiejie was slightly stunned after listening to Xiao Qing's words. She immediately understood what Xiao Qing was referring to. She turned her head and smiled at Xiao Qing. Sister Xiao Qing, why would I be uncomfortable? Seeing Yang Ming and Qin Mengyan perform together on stage, I am very happy. Sister Mengyan has sacrificed a lot. Now that I see her so happy, I am very happy. If possible, I hope that Yang Ming can compensate her more. Hearing Zhou Jiejie's thoughts, Xiao Qing was very surprised. She looked at her with some astonishment. She didn't understand how this girl could have such thoughts. Was this her true thoughts? If so, then it was very rare. Jiejie, do you really think so? Xiao Qing asked with some disbelief. Naturally, this is the case. Zhou Jiejie smiled and said, Sister Xiao Qing, I am very satisfied with everything I have now. What else is there to fight for? Compared with the previous unrequited love, it is not easy. Yeah, the most important thing is to cherish what is in front of you. Xiao Qing also nodded in agreement. People have to learn to be satisfied. I am very satisfied now. Although there are some hopes and expectations, I also know that there are some things that are not mine. Don't force it. It is too tiring to live like that. Only by learning to be satisfied can you live more comfortably. It seems that we are all the same. Zhou Jiejie smiled and held Xiao Qing's hand. The two people's hearts were connected, and they had a common secret. Naturally, they had more common topics and ideas. Wang Xiaoyan looked at Qin Mengyan and Yang Ming on the stage indifferently. She just didn't want to fight for anything now. If she wanted to fight, she could directly kill Qin Mengyan. Of course, Wang Xiaoyan wouldn't do that. If she did, Yang Ming would hate her to death. This wasn't the result she wanted. Anyway, Qin Mengyan and I are not the same kind of people. It is impossible to have too much intersection in the future. After all, I have a lot of common secrets and topics with Yang Ming. In contrast, Qin Mengyan knows too little, so Wang Xiaoyan didn't envy her at all. My relationship with Yang Ming has been baptized by blood. It is a love born in battle. It is not comparable to ordinary people. However, Wang Xiaoyan was most worried about Zhao Ying. With a sigh, Wang Xiaoyan looked at Zhao Ying, who was a little dazed. Wang Xiaoyan really didn't know what to do. This Zhao Ying is really infatuated, but there is always a gap between her and Yang Ming. Although I don't think there is anything, Zhao Ying is the kind of person who is weak and hesitant. It is really difficult to let her take a step forward. The most important thing is that I want to help her and help her create some opportunities, but Zhao Ying doesn't agree with me. She wants to fight for it herself instead of asking others for help. With Xiao Ying's stubbornness, Wang Xiaoyan really can't do anything. She can only let her drag it. Anyway, it is fine. She is not the only woman around Yang Ming. She is not worried about adding another woman to Yang Ming's women. Anyway, both of them are not worried, so let's take it slowly. Sooner or later, there will be such a day. Wang Xiaoyan can only wait and see. Sister Ying, why don't I ask Yang Ming to go out and play together? Wang Xiaoyan finally couldn't help but ask. Ah. Xiao Ying was stunned. Although she was also thinking about Yang Ming, she was immersed in the memories of the past. She recalled the time when she was Yang Ming's teacher. This is amazing. Now the two of them are actually classmates. Let's not, why not? Wang Xiaoyan seemed to have guessed that Xiao Ying would say this. She sighed softly. Sister Ying, I think you can't go on like this. My situation is a bit complicated. I can't make things difficult for Yang Ming, right? Xiao Ying smiled bitterly. I'm afraid it won't be so easy to get over with Chen Mengyan. Xiao Ying was most worried about this. Chen Mengyan used to be her student. Although she is not now, and she is also Yang Ming's and her college classmate, isn't there a past? Although it wasn't like the ancient times where Xiao Longnu was Yanggua's master for life and would be questioned by the world, Xiao Ying was afraid that Chen Mengyan couldn't figure it out, so she didn't dare to take another step forward. Wang Xiaoyan thought, sure enough, it is still Chen Mengyan. If it weren't for Yang Ming, I would have killed this chick. But, on second thought, if it weren't for Yang Ming, why would I kill Chen Mengyan for no reason? Am I not idle? Wang Xiaoyan shook her head for her own ambivalence and smiled bitterly. I really can't get involved in this matter. Sister Ying, why don't you be like me and be Yang Ming's secret lover? I am different from you. Xiao Ying waved her hand. Chen Mengyan will be wary of me, but she won't be wary of you. Forget it. Let's take one step at a time. I don't want to worry about this now. Wang Xiaoyan listened to Xiao Ying and didn't say anything. Perhaps Xiao Ying has her own ideas. Xiao Ying, how could she have any ideas? She is now a complex of contradictions. Chen Mengyan is just one of the excuses. Although it is a reason, it is not the main reason. The main reason is my own mentality problem. Why can't I be like Zhou Jie, who doesn't care about anything? I have to think about some gains and losses, some insignificant things. But this is a person's character. How can it be changed? If I am as decisive as Zhou Jie, Xiao Ying thought, I will definitely accept Yang Ming on the night when Yang Ming expressed his feelings to me. Then I will go through the resignation procedures the next day. But Xiao Ying hated her hesitation. She hated her indecisive character. Chapter 1341. The most heartless person was naturally Jing Xiaolu. She was not jealous or envious at all. Instead, she was delighted with her recent progress with Yang Ming. She fantasized that she could perform with Yang Ming one day. She didn't have to be like Chen Mengyan. She could just be like Lin Jiyun. Even if she was a supporting role, it would be fine. In the end, Jing Xiaolu's heart even began to be more heartless. She thought that she was Yang Ming holding Chen Mengyan's hand. She was so excited under the stage. If Yang Ming knew about this, who knew what he would think? Sun Jia didn't participate in this art festival party at all. There were too many things at home. Her father was gone, and Tian Long was gone. The heavy burden of the family business was on her and Sun San. Tian Donghua hadn't graduated yet. It was impossible for him to take over the company's affairs at once. There was always a learning process. Therefore, Sun Jia was very busy all day. She knew that Yang Ming still had such a large island property in Country X, so she didn't care much about the Sun family's property. Her vision was different. She didn't compete for some small profits, which saved her a lot of effort. As the school's campus belle substitute contestant, Jing Xiaolu was naturally asked to perform on stage. However, Jing Xiaolu was originally from the art department, so it was natural for her to perform a show. As for why she was the campus belle substitute, it was a bit funny. Logically, with Jing Xiaolu's qualifications, not to mention entering the top 10 of the campus belle list, it was not a problem to enter the top 5. However, during the selection of the campus belle list, Jing Xiaolu dressed like a delinquent girl all day long. Her face was painted like a ghost. From the aesthetic point of view of college students, they didn't like her at all. No one would pay much attention to her. Therefore, during the selection, she was naturally ignored. After that, Jing Xiaolu listened to Yang Ming's words. She removed her ghost makeup and began to walk the pure route. Suddenly, she attracted the attention of the perverts on campus. Everyone was scrambling to find out where such a beauty came from. She was like Sister Lin who fell from the sky. They were suddenly shocked. After inquiring, they found out that she was Jing Xiaolu from the art department. As for what Jing Xiaolu looked like before, those people didn't care as long as she was beautiful now. However, the top 10 of the campus belle list had been listed. It wouldn't be good to change it again. Therefore, Jing Xiaolu became the 11th substitute campus belle. Which meant that if there was anyone who transferred or graduated, Jing Xiaolu would replace them. Chen Yang Ming A. This was the first time Chen Mengyan made such a bold move in public. Even Yang Ming found it unbelievable. Yang B. Yang Ming believed that as long as he got off the stage a little later, Chen Mengyan could directly hug him on the stage. Since Chen Mengyan wasn't afraid, Yang Ming was naturally not afraid. Yang Ming was a person who was very self-centered. He didn't care what others said. He didn't care if anyone was looking at them backstage. He cooperated with Chen Mengyan and kissed her. His hands even touched Chen Mengyan's body. However, Chen Mengyan didn't stop this time. She let Yang Ming's hands do whatever they wanted. Yang Ming, I want it. Chen Mengyan whispered in Yang Ming's ear while she was gasping for breath. Yang Ming's heart was moved, but he also knew that it was impossible to do it backstage. It was impossible to say that he didn't want to do it. He looked at Chen Mengyan, whose face was flushed, and whispered, I will go home tonight. Chen Mengyan nodded obediently. She hesitated and said softly, I will help you to coax Sister Lin. Yang Ming was stunned and immediately understood Chen Mengyan's meaning. Looking at Chen Mengyan's shy look, Yang Ming really wanted to shout loudly. It seems that my poem recitation is really successful. I have to work harder in the future. Chen Mengyan's heart isn't so difficult to conquer. If I treat her well, she will naturally find ways to repay me tenfold. After Chen Mengyan said this sentence, she felt a little embarrassed. This is too shameful. However, when she saw Yang Ming's happy look, she found it funny. This person. Just now, he said that he swore to sing, You Are My Life, to me. I think it should be, You Are My Life. Su Qianqing had nothing to do with Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan hugging and kissing. His goal was Lin Jiyun, so even if Yang Ming directly pushed Chen Mengyan here, he had no opinion. Ning Chen looked at Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan hugging together, and she was a little jealous in her heart. When can I be with Su Qianqing? She wanted to mock Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan, but when she thought that she represented Su Qianqing, she eliminated her idea. Looking at your loving appearance, I am really envious. For Su Qianqing, Ning Chen said a sentence against her heart. She thought about showing goodwill to Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan so that they would not go out and say bad things about Su Qianqing. Looking at Ning Chen's 180-degree change in attitude, Yang Ming secretly sneered. This Su Qianqing is really a talent. It is amazing that he can make a girl reach this point. He knew that this Ning Chen must be pretending. Su Qianqing also knew that Yang Ming could guess that Ning Chen was pretending, but so what? Su Qianqing just wanted Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan to know that he was showing goodwill to them. Unfortunately, Yang Ming understood that Su Qianqing wanted to pursue Lin Jiyun. Even if Su Qianqing dug out his heart, Yang Ming would not have any good feelings for him. Instead, Yang Ming would step on it to vent his anger. Chen Mengyan, seeing the difference between before and after Ning Chen, naturally understood that it was because of Su Qianqing. However, she despised him in her heart. Suddenly, there was a sharp contrast with Yang Ming's attitude toward her. Her impression of Su Qianqing was even worse. She felt that this person was a villain. However, on the surface, Chen Mengyan still smiled and said, "Hee, aren't you and your brother Qianqing also very good?" Chen Mengyan's words could be interpreted in a positive or negative way. How Ning Chen wanted to listen to it was her business, it didn't matter. However, Ning Chen obviously took it as a positive way. She smiled slightly and said, "Hee, however, brother Qianqing is very fierce to me, but I also know that he is doing it for my own good." Yang Ming wanted to kick this silly woman to death. Her brain was really punctured. It was already like this, and she still said good words for Su Qianqing. He was really speechless. But if she was willing to do this, no one could control it. Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan walked out of the backstage together and walked from the emergency exit to the auditorium. Ning Chen is really pitiful. Chen Mengyan was somewhat emotional. She was also a woman, and she was a beautiful woman. Chen Mengyan felt some pity for this Ning Chen. "You have to walk your own path." Yang Ming said indifferently, "Since she is willing to do this, we can't control it. But that Su Qianqing, you should be careful in the future. Don't have any contact with him. Don't worry. If this kind of person asks me out, I won't bother with him." Chen Mengyan thought that Yang Ming was afraid that Su Qianqing would have ideas about her. "No, I mean that he has ideas about Jiyun. He was just pleasing us to have a good relationship with us. He wants to use us as a breakthrough to befriend Lin Jiyun." Yang Ming explained, "Previously, he was also hostile to me, but when he heard you say that Jiyun is your good friend, he changed his attitude. He probably thinks that there is definitely nothing between me and Jiyun because you and Jiyun are also good friends. It is simply impossible between me and Jiyun, so his attitude changed. It turned out to be like this." Chen Mengyan also felt that this Su Qianqing's attitude was a bit wrong today. After listening to Yang Ming's explanation, she understood the reason. Chapter 1342. No wonder I felt that he was weird. Chen Mengyan wasn't stupid. It turned out that he saw you and Lin Jiyun getting too close, so he came to me to complain about you. I was wondering why he suddenly mentioned Sister Lin to me. I hope he can behave himself. Yang Ming sighed and said helplessly, "My Mengyan doesn't like me to beat people, but some people are just asking for it." Chen Mengyan listened to Yang Ming's words and couldn't help but smile. What kind of analogy is that? We will just ignore him. I don't believe that Sister Lin will fall in love with someone else. If you beat him, it means that you don't trust us. After listening to Chen Mengyan's words, Yang Ming quickly explained, "How is it that I don't trust you? I'm just afraid that this guy is annoying. There are so many annoying people. Can you beat them up one by one? Are you an ambassador of peace?" Chen Mengyan said, "You are still like this. You aren't young anymore. Can't you be more stable?" You don't know how worried I am when you get into a fight. Well, I will listen to you. Yang Ming also knew that Chen Mengyan never liked him to fight. Unlike Jing Xiaolu, Chen Mengyan's upbringing was different since she was young. She wasn't the kind of girl who would be excited when she saw a boy fight for her. Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan entered the auditorium in a low-key manner. They walked to their seats from the side aisle, but the students with sharp eyes still saw them. Yang Ming. Yang Ming. Yang Ming. The students who saw Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan shouted spontaneously. Kiss. 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 Seeing Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan holding hands, the students couldn't help but cheer. In their opinion, Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan were a perfect match. They were simply an ideal couple. Seeing their affection on the stage, they hoped that they would go further after the stage. On the stage, several actors were singing rock and roll. Suddenly, they heard the cheers from the audience. At first, they were complacent. They thought that their voices were better than Su Wei and Cui Jian, so they sang harder. But when they listened carefully, something was wrong. Why did the audience shout, "Kiss"? Kiss what? Kiss who? When they listened carefully again, their faces turned green because the people under the stage shouted Yang Ming, instead of him, the rock and roll little prince. This guy was depressed for a while. Motherfucker, my show is not as good as a poetry recital. He had been preparing backstage, so he didn't see the shocking scene of Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan. So the rock and roll little prince was very puzzled. How could a poetry recital attract so many people? It was probably because of the popularity of Yang Ming. Everyone supported the poetry recital because they supported Yang Ming, so they praised it. Thinking of this, the rock and roll little prince was a little discouraged. Originally, he wanted to become popular at this school art festival. His idea was to form a campus band, then write some songs and hold a concert. It would be best if he could release an album. Then, he would be famous. Therefore, during the rehearsal, he deliberately found the cadre of the student union and arranged for him to be behind a poetry recital performance. Why was it arranged like this? Because the rock and roll little prince thought that crosstalk, short film, piano performance, solo, and so on were very attractive. Only this poetry recital was boring, so the rock and roll little prince asked the student union to arrange his program behind this poetry recital. The purpose of this was actually that there was a boring poetry recital before. After that, when the rock and roll little prince appeared, he would use the shock of rock music to form a sharp contrast with the previous poetry recital. He could also get more support from the students under the stage. But what he didn't expect was that Yang Ming actually temporarily replaced Yu Jingmin, who was supposed to perform the poetry recital on stage. As a result, he lifted a rock and smashed his own foot. But there was no other way. Since he was already on stage, the rock and roll little prince could only admit that he was unlucky. He held his throat and continued to howl on the stage. The audience under the stage also responded enthusiastically, but not to him. Yang Ming glanced at Chen Mengyan. Chen Mengyan was shy and lowered her head. Yang Ming suddenly held Chen Mengyan's little face with his hand and kissed it fiercely. Yang Ming didn't kiss for too long. He didn't want to be watched by the people under the stage. But even so, the students under the stage were still excited. They stood up and shouted loudly. Whistles, light sticks, and applause filled the entire auditorium. Yang Ming also pulled Chen Mengyan back to her seat in this burst of cheers. What did you do just now? You scared me. After sitting down, Chen Mengyan patted her chest and said with a lingering fear, You suddenly kissed me and made others laugh. When we were backstage, didn't you take the initiative to kiss me? Yang Ming smiled. Isn't that because there are fewer people? After Chen Mengyan finished speaking, her face was red again. Humph, you are making fun of me. I will ignore you. However, although she said so, Chen Mengyan didn't mean to ignore Yang Ming. Her small hand was still tightly holding Yang Ming's big hand. It is estimated that the rock singer on the stage will hate us. Yang Ming pointed to the rock and roll little prince on the stage who was struggling to please. What does it have to do with us? Chen Mengyan rolled her eyes at Yang Ming. Right, do you remember the first time we sat side by side in the auditorium? Yang Ming suddenly had a very warm feeling. Holding Chen Mengyan's hand, he felt very grounded. How can I not remember? How could Chen Mengyan forget? The first time she and Yang Ming had a close relationship was when they watched a movie together in the 3rd year of high school. It was also from then on that the two of them confirmed their relationship. It was all because of you. At that time, Zhang Bin thought we were in love, isn't it? Yang Ming was a bit shameless. You helped me at the time, and you still say you are not my girlfriend. You say it again. Do you believe that I won't help you again? Chen Mingyan's face was hot after listening. She stared at Yang Ming, but then she was discouraged. I can't threaten you now. In a month, when it is not convenient for me, you can find someone else. Yang Ming listened to Chen Mingyan's words and felt a little jealous. He was shocked and wanted to say something, but then he heard Chen Mengyan say, however, I can join others to boycott you. Looking at Chen Mingyan's sly eyes, Yang Ming shook his head. I'm tired. I'll close my eyes and rest for a while. You can play with Sister Lin. Chen Mengyan didn't want to neglect Lin Jiyun because Yang Ming talked to her, so she leaned her head on the back of the chair and closed her eyes. Sister Mengyan, look, Jing Xiaolu is on the stage. Lin Jiyun suddenly turned her head and said to Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan. Oh. Chen Mengyan naturally knew Jing Xiaolu. The misunderstanding between them had been resolved. Now she was helping Yang Ming, so Chen Mengyan didn't have a bad impression of her. Instead, they had a good relationship. Hearing Lin Jiyun's words, she quickly opened her eyes again and looked at the stage. Sure enough, Jing Xiaolu was on the stage, but why does her dress look familiar? Chen Mengyan thought about it and knew who Jing Xiaolu was imitating. She touched Yang Ming with her arm and said, Hey, your dream lover is on the stage. Ah. Yang Ming was shocked. Did this Chen Mengyan notice that there was a little ambiguity between me and Jing Xiaolu? His face suddenly changed, and he quickly looked up at the stage. Chapter 1343. At first glance, Yang Ming was relieved. He also knew why Chen Mengyan said so. It was because Jing Xiaolu's dress on stage was completely imitated by the big celebrity Shuya's concert. Is she also a fan of Shuya? Yang Ming shook his head. It seems that Shuya is really popular now. Even Jing Xiaolu has become her fan. I don't know what Jing Xiaolu will think when she finds out that the big celebrity Shuya is her sister. Wait. Yang Ming really wanted to slap himself. Motherfucker, what am I thinking? Jing Xiaolu has nothing to do with me now. Why do I count her in? He quickly shook his head. Am I really falling in love with her? Jing Xiaolu sang the song, Find the Lost Love, from Shuya's new album. Because Jing Xiaolu's voice was very good, and her imitation of actions and expressions were also very accurate, just singing a sentence, it attracted a lot of cheers from the audience. I didn't expect that Xiaolu's singing is so good. Chen Mengyan suddenly forgot that she wanted to take a break before, and she suddenly became energetic. Yang Ming was also very surprised. He had never heard Jing Xiaolu sing. With such a foundation, she could participate in those talent shows such as Supergirl. But thinking about it, singing was not Jing Xiaolu's development direction. She should be obsessed with her career now. Ask her to go out and sing karaoke one day. Chen Mengyan said casually, but she found that Yang Ming looked at her inconceivably. She suddenly blushed and said embarrassedly, "A while ago, you weren't at home. Sister Lin, Jia, and I had nothing to do, so we went out and wandered around. We were obsessed with going to karaoke." Yang Ming didn't expect Chen Mengyan to go to these entertainment venues, but he was relieved after thinking about it. When he was in high school, Chen Mengyan was naturally a good girl. She wouldn't go to such entertainment venues, but now that she was in college, it was normal for college classmates to go to karaoke together. Since the last time Shuya invited Chen Mengyan to sing on the same stage, Chen Mengyan also liked singing. When she was at home, she would hum a line or two when she had nothing to do. However, Yang Ming felt that he still needed to remind Chen Mengyan. "Mengyan, when I'm not at home, you should try not to go out and run around, especially at night. The three of you are so beautiful, what if you meet a bad guy? Especially in places like KTV, it's more complicated. There are all kinds of people." Hearing that Yang Ming cared about her, Chen Mengyan felt warm and funny in her heart. She smiled and said, "We went to the nightless club. The boss there knows us." Yang Ming patted his head. He also felt that his words were a little funny. The nightless club was his territory, and Bao Sanli was in charge of it. If Chen Mengyan and the others went there, who would dare to find trouble? Even without his relationship, Uncle Chen was now the bureau chief of the city bureau. Which punk dared to offend Chen Mengyan and the others? He believed that as long as Chen Mengyan said who her father was, those who wanted to have ideas about her would obediently avoid it. It turned out to be like this. Yang Ming nodded and smiled. "But after all, it's not safe for you to walk outside at night. How about this? I'll ask Bao Sanli to move the sound system of the nightless club to the house. You can sing at home, right?" "I don't want to. There will be no atmosphere." Chen Mengyan shook her head. "Besides, sometimes I go with my dormitory classmates. How can I bring them home?" "Well, then you should be careful." Yang Ming listened to Chen Mengyan and didn't say anything. However, Yang Ming had already made plans. Victoria should have gradually become familiar with the environment here these days. He would find an opportunity to let her get to know Chen Mengyan. Then, she could follow Chen Mengyan and protect her secretly. Thinking of this, Yang Ming also felt relieved. Jing Xiaolu's singing once again stirred up a climax of the party, making the atmosphere of the entire party lively again. However, Jing Xiaolu did not accept the audience's intention to let her sing another song. She sang this song because Yang Ming's car had recently been playing the MP3 of this song. Jing Xiaolu thought that Yang Ming liked to listen to this song, so she secretly practiced it. It was also considered singing for Yang Ming at this party. Jing Xiaolu was really unwilling to perform for others. Now, Jing Xiaolu was different from before. In the past, she was looking for ways to be in the limelight and make herself a celebrity in school. Now, she only wanted to perform in front of Yang Ming. As for the others, Jing Xiaolu was too lazy to serve them. After getting off the stage, Jing Xiaolu deliberately looked in the direction where Yang Ming was sitting. She knew that Yang Ming was sitting with Chen Mengyan and Lin Jiyun. She originally wanted to join in the fun, but after weighing the pros and cons, Yang Ming wouldn't be willing to be entangled with her so shamelessly, so she sat with Gu Xinyao. Under the stage, there was a dense crowd of people, and the lights were dim. Jing Xiaolu didn't have Yang Ming's X-ray vision and telescopic vision. She didn't see Yang Ming for a long time, so she had to return to her seat and sit down helplessly. "Xiaolu, I thought you would confess on the stage." Gu Xinyao was a little disappointed. She saw that Jing Xiaolu had been practicing this song very hard recently. She also knew that Jing Xiaolu was mainly singing this song for Yang Ming. As for the others, Jing Xiaolu definitely wouldn't care. Gu Xinyao originally thought that Jing Xiaolu would say something at the end of the song. At least, it would be a subtle hint that she was singing this song for someone. However, Gu Xinyao was disappointed. Jing Xiaolu didn't say anything and just got off the stage. Confess what? Jing Xiaolu was stunned. She didn't understand what Gu Xinyao was talking about. Confess to Yang Ming. Gu Xinyao said, I thought you would hint to Yang Ming. This is such a good opportunity. Why don't you seize it? Confess. Opportunity. Jing Xiaolu finally understood what Gu Xinyao was referring to. She couldn't help but smile bitterly. Sister Xinyao, aren't you trying to kill me? Didn't you see the affectionate look of Yang Ming and Chen Mengyan before? If I confess to Yang Ming can understand. Chen Mengyan will naturally understand too. If she is hostile to me, what should I do? Do you think I'm Lin Jiyun? Chen Mengyan's position in Yang Ming's heart can be seen from the previous program. If Chen Mengyan wants to obstruct, won't I have no chance? Lin Jiyun. Didn't Chen Mengyan also accept it? Gu Xinyao asked inexplicably. How can that be the same? Sister Lin has slept with Yang Ming. I'm still a virgin. Jing Xiaolu's words were shocking. I have to find a chance to give myself, otherwise, I will always be an unstable factor. Puff. Gu Xinyao listened to Jing Xiaolu's words and almost choked. Then. I wish you to give yourself to him as soon as possible, thank you. Jing Xiaolu blinked and was very happy with Gu Xinyao's blessing. Right, Xiaolu, there will be a class reunion in a few days. The original class monitor, Su Saibao, called and asked if we would attend. Gu Xinyao was in the same class as Jing Xiaolu in high school. Su Saibao. He can look for me. Jing Xiaolu was stunned after listening. This Su Saibao was also one of the rich guys who had been fooled by Jing Xiaolu. He spent a lot of money on Jing Xiaolu, but he didn't get any advantage. I don't know, but he also invited you. Gu Xinyao shook her head. She hadn't contacted Su Saibao for a long time. But this class reunion is probably the result of many people's discussion in the group. At the very least, he has to inform everyone. Then, are you going? Jing Xiaolu thought about it and asked Gu Xinyao. Of course, I'm going. I'm going with Bai Hai. Although your brother Hai is not in our class, he is also in our school. He is from the previous batch. Many of our classmates know him. Gu Xinyao had the intention to show off at the class reunion. Bai Hai had now changed from a little punk to the property manager of the largest villa area in the city. It was very prestigious to bring him out. Because Yang Ming built villas in the original shanty town, it bordered the previous villa area. The property company of the original villa area was originally under the responsibility of the original Wang's group. Now, it was also planned into the Ming Yang Real Estate Company under Ming Yang Entertainment. Bai Hai, this kid, did a good job. The most important thing was that he had a relationship with Yang Ming, so Bao Somli let him be the property manager of the villa area. He was promoted from a small security manager to a property manager, which was a breakthrough. After the completion of the new villa here, Bai Hai's property manager would also be in charge. The people who lived here were rich people, and the property fee was quite high. This property manager could be said to be a lucrative job. Not only could she make friends with a lot of dignitaries, but the salary and bonuses were doubled. Even the car was changed from the original broken van to the current Volkswagen Magodan. Moreover, the license plate of this Magodan belonged to the security company. It was the special civil police license plate. This became another capital for Gu Xinyao to show off. Therefore, she must go to this class reunion. The most important thing was to let those classmates who looked down on her before see how good she was now. Although Gu Xinyao wasn't very good-looking, Bai Hai didn't plan to replace her. Instead, he treated her better. This was because Bai Hai knew very well that he had nothing to do with Yang Ming. If it weren't for his relationship with Lin Jiyun, how would Yang Ming know him? Now with the addition of Jing Xiaolu, it seemed that Jing Xiaolu would most likely become Yang Ming's woman. The key problem was that the relationship between Gu Xinyao and Jing Xiaolu was not ordinary. Bai Hai knew that if he wanted to develop in the future, then he had to take the wife route. If Gu Xinyao served Lin Jiyun and Jing Xiaolu well, then his future would not be a problem. Otherwise, he couldn't guarantee when he would reach the end of his career as a property manager. Bai Hai was very clear that his current position was a big fat job. Many people in the company were eyeing this position. Even some department managers in the head office wanted him to work as a property manager for a few years. Now, even Bai Hai was trying to curry favor with Jing Xiaolu. The property company was just a subsidiary company of the real estate company under Ming Yang Entertainment. Jing Xiaolu was now the executive vice president of Ming Yang Entertainment. With this great god protecting him, Bai Hai was very arrogant in the company. Many people who coveted his position and wanted to take the opportunity to cause trouble would weigh this layer of relationship with him. Why don't you go too? Gu Xinyao encouraged Jing Xiaolu. Indeed, although Bai Hai's Magodan was also very impressive, compared with Jing Xiaolu's BMW X5, it was a grade lower. Therefore, Gu Xinyao also hoped that Jing Xiaolu would also attend this class reunion. At that time, the two luxury cars would stop there and let those snobbish people see how well she and Jing Xiaolu were doing. Jing Xiaolu was recently busy discussing the security company's banknote security business with the Jiangyan Group, so she didn't have much free time. It was fine not to go to this kind of class reunion. You take Yang Ming with you. Gu Xinyao saw Jing Xiaolu hesitate and said quickly. Yang Ming. This is a good opportunity to contact Yang Ming alone. I invited Yang Ming to go with me. Yang Ming can't bring Chen Mengyan with him, right? About Yang Ming, Jing Xiaolu regarded it as the most important thing in her life. Therefore, compared to the negotiations with the Jiangyan Group, it was more important to be alone with Yang Ming. Thinking of this, Jing Xiaolu was a little tempted. However, the key is, can Yang Ming accompany me to the class reunion? What reason should I use to invite Yang Ming? Jing Xiaolu fell into contemplation. Gu Xinyao looked at Jing Xiaolu's frown and knew that Jing Xiaolu was tempted. She didn't continue to say anything. As long as Jing Xiaolu was tempted, it would be easy. Yang Ming had no interest in the following programs of the art festival. They were all performances by people he didn't know. The performances were more or less the same, either singing or dancing, which made him lose interest in them. However, Chen Mengyan and Lin Jiyun commented from time to time. Yang Ming simply went to Chen Mengyan's side and let the two of them communicate. The annual school art festival party ended like this. A week after the end, the first, second, and third prizes of this party program, as well as the Outstanding Individual Award, would be selected. Of course, in addition to the opinions of several school leaders, everyone still had to participate in the selection. There was a voting column on the campus website. Although the school leaders' opinions were very large, if the selected winners were completely different from the school leaders' opinions, the school leaders couldn't go against the students. After all, this event was the students' own. Too much interference by the school leaders would cause dissatisfaction among the students. Therefore, when the principal, the moral education principal, and Lu Weishan said that they wanted to give the first prize to Yang Ming, it was only the school's idea. As for whether this first prize could fall to Yang Ming in the end, it depended on whether the students had this idea. Falcon, who was the mysterious behind-the-scenes boss, carefully opened this International Air Express delivery, took out the thing inside, and gently played with it in his hand. As expected of Dr. Benjamin. The new product this time is much better than the previous one, Falcon said to himself. This time, we have to be careful. There can't be any more problems. After saying that, Falcon stretched out his hand and tore off the skin on his face. If there was someone next to him, they would be scared to death. What was even more surprising was that there was another face behind the face that Falcon tore off. However, no one saw this. Falcon had already attached the new face to his own face and put the old face into the previous express delivery box. Falcon had wanted to put the items in the cupboard for a rainy day, but after some thought, he threw the box containing the cheeky skin into the fireplace and watched the blazing fire burn the items to ashes. After doing all this, Falcon opened his office door and walked out. Huang Yukai was waiting outside. The two people were going to discuss the next step of the plan to deal with Yang Ming. Falcon received an international package, so he went into the office to check it out. Huang Yukai didn't seem to be curious about this. It was better to know less about things that had nothing to do with him. When he heard the office door open again, Huang Yukai thought that Falcon had come out. He quickly looked up, but he saw a stranger coming out from inside. Who are you? Huang Yukai subconsciously became vigilant. He stood up and stared at the person who came out and asked. It's me. Falcon said faintly, don't panic. Hearing that the voice belonged to Falcon, Huang Yukai suddenly calmed down. After taking a closer look, he found that this person's dress, behavior, and even voice were exactly the same as before. Only the face had changed. At this time, Falcon had completely become another person. If he hadn't spoken, Huang Yukai would have found it difficult to connect the two people together. Before this, Huang Yukai suspected that Falcon didn't show his true face. Now, he was even more convinced and secretly relieved. Falcon's previous image had been wanted by the police. Now that he changed his appearance, he didn't have to hide and do things. Boss, this is really amazing. I can't tell that it's the result of a disguise. Huang Yukai praised. Hee. Falcon smiled slightly. This was a high-tech product. How could it be compared with those simple disguises? Chapter 1345. Boss, what are we going to do next? Yang Ming is very active. He is doing well, and the company is getting bigger and bigger. Huang Yukai saw that the boss had gotten rid of the predicament of being wanted, and his mind was active. Let's wait and see. Now is not the best time to make a move. Falcon had just been warned by Dr. Benjamin not to play any tricks, but this couldn't be said to Huang Yukai. He still needed Huang Youcai's help. Huang Yukai thought that Falcon had to be low-key because of the previous incident, so he didn't think much about it. Okay, then let's rest for a while before starting work. Yang Ming sent Chen Mengyan and Lin Jian home first, then he drove to the Songjiang International Hotel. The people in the hotel knew Yang Ming. Yang Ming waved his hand to stop them from greeting him. He went to the elevator and knocked on the door of Victoria's room. Who is it? It didn't take long for Victoria's voice to come from the room. It's me. Yang Ming didn't expect Victoria to really be in the room. He secretly thought that this girl could really stay in the room. She stayed in the room all day long and didn't go out. The door of the room opened naturally. Victoria was wrapped in a bath towel, and her hair was still wet. Apparently, she had just taken a shower. The short bath towel couldn't cover anything. A tender white thigh was exposed below, which made Yang Ming feel dizzy. Yang Ming didn't know if he should come in or not. He was a little embarrassed and was in a dilemma. However, after Victoria opened the door, she didn't stand at the door anymore. Instead, she turned around and walked into the room. Yang Ming had no choice but to follow her in and close the door behind him. What's the matter? Victoria was so concise every time she spoke. Her thoughts were not complicated. Now she was Yang Ming's person. Every time Yang Ming looked for her, there must be something for her to do. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. It seemed that it would take some time for Victoria to integrate into the life of a normal person. This kind of cold personality made it difficult for her to get along with others. I'm looking for you this time because I want to discuss with you about entering the school. Yang Ming said, your identity has been settled. Don't use the name Victoria anymore. Yang Ming did not ask Qin Fei to handle Victoria's identity. There were some things that he did not want Qin Fei to know too much about, so Victoria's identity was handed over to Qin and of Mount Jing. He was also a member of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, so he was familiar with handling this kind of thing. The Mount Jing police station didn't ask much at all. The people on Qin An's side often changed their identities due to performing tasks, so Victoria's identity was quickly solved. Victoria's identity became a cousin who came from a remote mountain to Mount Jing to seek refuge from Qin An. Her name was also changed to Qinmingxi. This name was made up casually by Yang Ming, and he didn't take it seriously. Okay. Victoria responded. Yang Ming wanted to say something more, but the next thing that happened made Yang Ming's eyes almost pop out. He saw that Victoria casually pulled down the bath towel on her body and wiped her hair. Her body was so naked in front of Yang Ming. Ugh! Yang Ming broke into a sweat. What is this Victoria doing? Could it be that she wants to seduce me? Yang Ming swallowed a mouthful of saliva. He had to say that Victoria's figure was perfect. The body proportions of girls who knew Kung Fu were almost golden. Wang Xiaoyan was like this, and Victoria in front of him was taller than Wang Xiaoyan, so it was even more so. Yang Ming tried hard to move his eyes away from Victoria's body, but although his eyes moved away, the full view of his special ability began to operate unconsciously, seeing through Victoria. Yang Ming cursed. Motherfucker, it turns out that the special ability is also lustful. Yang Ming, this shameless guy, directly pushed his lustfulness to the innocent special ability. What's wrong with you? Victoria wiped her hair and saw that Yang Ming suddenly didn't speak. She saw him looking at her with a strange expression. Victoria asked strangely. You are so naked in front of others. Yang Ming stammered and didn't know how to say this. Victoria didn't have so many complicated thoughts, but it didn't mean that she didn't understand human affairs. Seeing Yang Ming's embarrassment, there was some pleasure in her heart for no reason. It turns out that this guy is not uninterested in me. Thinking of this, Victoria suddenly felt a little complacent. Victoria was still very confident in her appearance. Bobby also coveted her beauty and wanted to make a move on her. It was just that he was too timid. He was afraid that Victoria would kill him in bed, so Bobby never made a move. Since following Yang Ming, a more powerful master, Victoria gradually understood Yang Ming's ability and became loyal to him. Her life could be said to be given by Yang Ming. Without Yang Ming's treatment and without Yang Ming's help to remove the time bomb in her body, she was afraid that she would be dead now. Therefore, Victoria was not as hostile to Yang Ming as she was to Bobby. This master completely treated her as an equal, not a machine or a tool. Therefore, Victoria felt that if Yang Ming wanted to do something to her, she should be in a state of being in a state of half-resistance. Even if Yang Ming used force, she was not his opponent, so Victoria couldn't resist Yang Ming like she did to Bobby, and Victoria never thought of resisting. However, since Yang Ming accepted her as a subordinate, he almost ignored her. Except for when he had something to do, Yang Ming would not even call her, which seriously damaged Victoria's self-esteem. She even suspected that Yang Ming had some problems or a problem with his romantic tendencies. However, the few nights of protecting Yang Ming and Wang Xiaoyan on the ship completely dispelled Victoria's doubts. Yang Ming and Wang Xiaoyan were doing something in the cabin. Although Victoria did not go in to see, some things were enough to hear the sound. Therefore, Victoria was brooding about it. This was a very contradictory feeling. At first, Bobby wanted her, but she refused no matter what he said. But now, Yang Ming ignored her, but she had this idea. Now, Victoria finally understood that it was not that Yang Ming was not interested in her, but he concealed it very well. Victoria didn't deliberately want to seduce Yang Ming when she wiped her hair with the bath towel. In her subconscious, she had already regarded Yang Ming as one of her own. She did not put up her guard against him at all. He was her master. If he wanted to harm her, it was useless even if she noticed it. Yang Ming was different from Bobby. Bobby was a good-for-nothing, and Yang Ming was a man who was more terrifying than her. It was precisely because Yang Ming was stronger than her that Victoria would casually take off the bath towel to wipe her hair like she did when she was in the room, but she ignored the fact that Yang Ming was a normal man. "You are my master. My entire being is yours." Victoria didn't mean to cover it up. She continued to wipe her hair with the bath towel. "In front of others, naturally, I won't." This was said very plainly, and there was no special hint or temptation in it. But even if this plainly said, it made Yang Ming's heart uncomfortable like a cat scratching it. This was the pinnacle of temptation. Chapter 1346. A few words could make a person's blood boil. Yang Ming naturally knew what Victoria meant. If he wanted her, he could push her to bed at any time. There was no need for any charm, nor any hot action. Just a sentence was enough to arouse Yang Ming's desire. It had to be said that Victoria was a woman who could make men tempted. Yang Ming didn't know how the old guy, Bobby, endured this kind of temptation. Thinking of Bobby, Yang Ming couldn't help but laugh. This old guy probably couldn't stop, right? I can't have Victoria, but I don't dare to do anything to her. I still want her to fight for me. This is contradictory enough. However, it could be seen that Victoria was only following Bobby as a stopgap measure. Victoria was completely forced by the pressure of the time bomb in her body. She had to work for Victoria. Now, Yang Ming had nothing in his hands that could threaten Victoria, but Victoria didn't put up any defenses against him. It could be said that if Victoria wanted to resist, it would be difficult for him to get her body or kill her. But the current situation was that this woman didn't regard him as a person who would be dangerous to her at all. It could be seen from her unhurried movements, which made Yang Ming feel inexplicably weird. Am I worthy of Victoria's trust? It could be seen that this woman had bet her future on me. Put on your clothes first. Yang Ming was really afraid that he couldn't help but push Victoria down. Victoria shook her wet hair and sat on the sofa bed next to him. She reclined. Her movements were very elegant. She looked like a lady on TV, but she was not wearing any clothes. Motherfucker. Yang Ming was furious. Are you trying to seduce me? He glared at her. Are you going to put it on? The water on my body hasn't dried yet. It's still a little damp. Putting on clothes is not good for the skin. Victoria said slowly. After that, she raised her leg, indicating that there was water on Yang Ming's leg. It didn't matter if she raised her leg, but Yang Ming directly saw something that shouldn't be seen. Originally, Yang Ming had strongly restrained himself from using his special ability to see those places that shouldn't be seen. Now, he saw it without using his special ability. While Yang Ming was cursing, his eyes were still staring at Victoria's private part. This is fucking fucked up. Yang Ming stood up and glared at Victoria, a certain part of her body. In Africa, I lived with those slaves every day, and I didn't see so many problems. It's not me saying it, it's from TV. Victoria was somewhat aggrieved. She looked at the furious Yang Ming and said, "Well, I will put it on." Yang Ming breathed a sigh of relief. It seems that my tolerance has improved greatly. Not bad. I have to work harder. Victoria turned around and ran to the inner room. She thought of the tent set up by Yang Ming, and she was a little happy. However, Yang Ming didn't stop for a while. He saw the door of the inner room open again. Yang Ming thought that Victoria had finished putting on her clothes. He didn't expect that at first glance. It made Yang Ming stunned. Victoria held a few pieces of clothes and ran out naked again. Her body was still naked. Fuck. Yang Ming couldn't help but curse. What are you doing? Putting on clothes. Didn't you ask me to do it? Victoria put the clothes on the sofa and began to put them on one by one in front of Yang Ming. Starting from the underwear, Victoria sat on the sofa and lifted one leg. This action made Yang Ming's calm mood suddenly become hot. I'm convinced. Yang Ming was really convinced by this woman. Too powerful. This kind of power is really powerful. Compared to Sun Jia, who openly teased and flirted with him, this Victoria was the real master. She was even better. She didn't have any intention of flirting with him, but what she did was simply flirting with Yang Ming. Can't you go into the room and finish putting on your clothes before coming out? Yang Ming was very angry. I can watch but can't do it. What is this? I thought you liked to see me put on my clothes. Victoria still had that very plain tone. Yang Ming rolled his eyes. He said in his heart, "Are you a roundworm in my stomach? Do you know what I like? But you can't say it directly. I don't have any face." Seeing Yang Ming like this, Victoria immediately became pitiful. Master, are you unhappy? Do you want me to take it off and put it on in the room? Yang Ming discovered that he had really underestimated this woman, Victoria. It was a wise choice to put her next to Alice. This woman is really scheming. Thinking about surviving from the lowest class of slaves in Africa to the present, it was impossible to rely on strength without scheming. Fortunately, this woman is very loyal to me. Although, she occasionally flirts with me, but this feeling of being flirted with is also good. Yang Ming felt that it was really a bit shameless. Although he was very much in favor of Victoria taking off her clothes and putting them on again, Yang Ming knew that if he continued to play, he might really get angry. No need. You can put it on here. Yang Ming took a breath and sat there, watching Victoria put on the small black leather skirt. Her whole body exuded a wild beauty. However, Yang Ming suddenly felt a little strange. Victoria didn't seem to have this dress. Her clothes were bought by him. They were very ordinary clothes. Where did this small leather skirt come from? Where did you get this dress? Did you go shopping? Yang Ming asked strangely. No, I am monitoring Alice. If she doesn't leave, I won't leave. Victoria said, Is this dress good? It is good, but where did it come from? Yang Ming was even more puzzled. Did this dress come out of thin air? I bought it on Taobao. Victoria was a little proud. It was rare for Yang Ming to praise her. Ha! Yang Ming widened his eyes and looked at Victoria incredulously. Bought it on Taobao. She even knows how to shop online. How many days has it been? When she was in Africa, she shouldn't have been exposed to the internet at all. I spent some money in the card you gave me. I registered the card as an online bank. Victoria looked at Yang Ming's expression and thought that Yang Ming was angry. She said carefully, But these clothes are very cheap. I have bargained with the shop owner. What? You still know how to bargain? Yang Ming felt that Victoria was incredible. Before Victoria could use a digital camera, Yang Ming felt that her ability to accept was very strong. Now, this woman actually knows how to shop online. It's amazing. Originally, Yang Ming was worried that if he sent her to school, she would be out of tune with other students, but now it seemed that he was worried too much. Victoria's ability to accept was really strong. Then you are online shopping here. How do you monitor Alice? Yang Ming glanced at Victoria's computer screen. There were online games. Even instant messaging software such as Feishin, Alawangwang, and QQ were installed. I bought a wireless pinhole camera online and installed it at Alice's door. As long as her door is opened, the supporting software compares the changes in the picture and will alarm the police. The computer's speaker can emit an alarm sound. I can find it immediately when I sleep. As Victoria said this, she clicked on a surveillance screen from the taskbar in the lower right corner of the computer. It was exactly the screen in front of Alice's door. Yang Ming was completely convinced. He thought that his ability to accept was strong enough, but now he found a ruthless person. This Victoria, with some training, may become the king of female assassins. Chapter 1347. Victoria's various performances made Yang Ming re-evaluate Victoria's position in his mind. He originally wanted her to be Chen Mingyan's bodyguard, but now it seemed that if Victoria was trained well, she would be of great use to him. However, it was still too early to consider this. Yang Ming intended to observe for a while. If Victoria was really loyal to him and had this magical ability to accept things quickly, Yang Ming would consider letting her touch on some of his core matters. Your identity has been settled. Yang Ming handed a portfolio to Victoria. This is your ID card and all your past information. Take a look and memorize the things on it. You will use this identity in the future. Victoria nodded and didn't say much. She took the portfolio handed over by Yang Ming, opened it, and took out an ID card and some printed information. Chen Mingxi. This name. Victoria glanced at the name on the ID card and then glanced at the address on the ID card. Mount Jing. Chen Mingxi is a name I simply made up for you. I asked a friend in Mount Jing to help me. Yang Ming was a little embarrassed. He didn't know what Chen Mengyan would think after hearing it. I was in a hurry at the time, so I simply made up a name. However, this also shows the position of Chen Mengyan in my mind. I made up a name similar to hers. I believe that Chen Mengyan will be very happy when she knows the truth. Oh. Victoria continued to read the information in her hand. The experiences written above were all things she had never been exposed to. Her ancestral home was also a small village that she had never heard of. However, Victoria still memorized it quickly. Okay, call me Chen Mingxi in the future. Okay. Chen Mingxi. Yang Ming probed. N. Victoria responded naturally as if this name was her real name. When this name was called, she responded reflexively. Yang Ming really admired Chen Mingxi now. Victoria was really amazing. What is this? Admission notice. Victoria looked at a hard card in her hand with some excitement. She had never gone to school. When she was in Africa, there was no opportunity, and she didn't know what school was like. However, recently in the hotel, she watched some TV about college students. She was envious. She didn't expect that she could finally become one of them. Tomorrow, you will report by yourself. Well, I will let my girlfriend, Chen Mengyan, accompany you to register. She is also the person you have to protect in the future. As for how to have a good relationship with her, it is your job. I don't need to teach you this, right? Yang Ming decided to let Qin Mingxi appear by Qin Mingyan's side as a distant relative of his elder. And when Yang Ming came up with this name, he also considered this point. Okay. Victoria nodded and said quietly. Yang Ming looked at the calm Victoria. Compared to the naked Victoria just now, she was like a different person. He couldn't help but shake his head. This woman. She seemed to be very cold and ruthless. She also mechanically carried out his orders. But who would have thought that she still had those little tricks? Yang Ming naturally didn't completely believe that those things just now were all Victoria's unintentional actions. At first, she used a towel to dry her hair. This may not be intentional, but she didn't guard against him, so she directly took off the towel wrapped around her body to dry her hair in front of him. But after that, he had already reminded her that she wasn't wearing clothes, but Victoria still walked around naked in front of him. Even after he asked her to put on clothes, she actually took the clothes from the house and put them on in front of him. If he said that Victoria wasn't scheming, then he really wronged her IQ. Previously, he didn't like Victoria's cold and mechanical appearance that didn't care about anything. Now, this Victoria didn't seem to have changed much, but in fact, she had changed a lot. Yang Ming didn't know whether to be happy or speechless. Victoria didn't ask much about the connection between her name and Qin Mengyan. She was still Yang Ming. She would do whatever he told her to do. After instructing all this, Yang Ming didn't dare to stay for a long time. This woman was obviously now completely on the same side as him. It was simply a kind of torture for him. If she pulled him to accompany her to pee later, how could he bear this kind of torture? On the way home, Yang Ming thought about the pros and cons of changing this woman's name to Qin Mingxi. Would there be any mistakes? Now it seemed that it was a bit overkill to let Victoria be responsible for Qin Mengyan's safety. The key question was, would Qin Mengyan suspect anything? I didn't have any relationship with Victoria before. Yang Ming was also confident. Now that I have seen her naked, what should I do if Qin Mengyan asks me if I have any bad intentions toward Victoria? Motherfucker, I should have changed her name to Yang Mingxi, Li Mingxi, and not Qin Mingxi. First, he threw away these messy thoughts, and Yang Ming drove home. He didn't know how Qin Mengyan, this little girl, fooled Lin Jiyun. When Yang Ming returned home and took a shower, he found that both of them disappeared. Hearing the playful sound from the master bedroom, Yang Ming understood that what Qin Mengyan said today was successful. With a determined heart, Yang Ming pushed the door and jumped in. Sister Lin went to take a shower first. Just now, her whole body was sweaty. Of course, there were some other things. Qin Mengyan also wanted to go, but she was pulled by Yang Ming. Mengyan, I have something to tell you. What's the matter? Qin Mengyan was stunned. When she saw Yang Ming's serious look, she was shocked. It couldn't be something bad, right? I helped an elder's distant relative to register a household registration. Yang Ming decided to confess this matter first. Qin Mengyan's temperament was like this. Everything was discussed with her. Even if she was resentful, she wouldn't be too angry. Register a household registration. Then register it. You and my dad aren't unfamiliar. You can call him yourself. You don't need me to call, right? Qin Mengyan thought that Yang Ming was looking for her father to do something, so she was a little puzzled. No, I have already registered her. Yang Ming couldn't tell Qin Mengyan the true identity of Victoria. He could only say according to the household registration information, her family is in a remote mountain area. She was unregistered since she was a child. It was me, a distant relative, who raised her. But when my distant relative passed away, she found me. So, I asked someone to register her household registration. Is this a good thing? You should help a relative who is in trouble. Chen Mengyan was somewhat inexplicable by Yang Ming. She didn't understand why Yang Ming was so serious about this matter. This was simply an insignificant matter. Why did he have to say it so solemnly in bed? He could say it when he was eating or shopping. The key problem is that she doesn't have a name. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. I registered her at the time. I was excited and casually made up a name. As a result, I named her Chen Mingxi. Mengyan, you won't be angry, right? Chen Mingxi. Chen Mengyan was stunned and said, you just told me this. The name you casually thought of can be similar to mine. It shows that I stand a great weight in your heart. I can't be happier. How can I be angry with you? When he heard Chen Mengyan's words, Yang Ming breathed a sigh of relief. Mengyan, I am very happy that you can say this. Chen Mingxi. Mingxi. Wait, this person is a woman. Chen Mengyan suddenly felt something. She raised her eyebrows and looked at Yang Ming. Yang Ming, do you have something with her? Otherwise, why did you give her such a name? Yang Ming was shocked. He thought, Chen Mengyan is not stupid. It seems that she also thought of this. What should come will come. Mengyan, in fact, I also have my considerations. Yang Ming pretended to be very troubled and sighed. Mengyan, my distant adopted daughter, has been living in the mountains and has not seen much of the world. This time, I got her to study in our school, but I am afraid that her living habits in the mountains are different from here. Her temperament is incompatible with other students, so I want you to take care of her. But many students may ask where she came from. You can just say that she is your relative. What do you think? Chapter 1348. Chen Mengyan realized that this was the reason. She wasn't a selfish person. On the contrary, under the education of her father since childhood, Chen Mengyan had a very warm heart. Otherwise, when she was riding the bus with Yang Ming, Chen Mengyan couldn't have bluntly caught the thief. When she heard the situation described by Yang Ming, she immediately had some sympathy for this Chen Mingxi. Chen Mengyan thought, I have to have a reason to take care of this new classmate in school. It will be easy to explain if others ask. Since she is called Chen Mingxi, it can be said that she is my sister. Thinking of this, Chen Mengyan also agreed, of course, there is no problem. It's just a small matter. You are busy every day, and you are not always at school. I will help you take care of her. It will be fine. Where is she now? I will go and see her. She doesn't have a place to stay. I arranged for her to stay at the Songjiang International Hotel. Will you accompany her to report to school tomorrow? Yang Ming had to use a little trick. He couldn't tell the origin of Victoria, and he didn't want to tell Chen Mengyan that Victoria was a bodyguard hired by himself to protect their safety. It would seem that they were in danger of being assassinated at any time. It wouldn't be good for Chen Mengyan to live in worry every day. Live there. Why don't we let her live in our house? Anyway, there are so many empty rooms. We don't need her. Chen Mengyan thought about it and said, what do you think? As long as you think it is convenient, I don't care. Yang Ming said, when she comes, we will do something. Aren't you afraid that she will hear it? What are you talking about? Chen Mengyan suddenly blushed. Auntie Li will come back in a few days. I will clean up a room next to Auntie Li's room for her. Anyway, they are on the first floor, and we are on the second floor. It won't affect. Hee, then you decide. Yang Ming thought about it and said to Chen Mengyan, oh right, she has a strong personality. Originally, I told her that we would take care of the tuition fees, but she still has to work to earn money. How about this? Let's talk to her and let her live in our house. She'll be responsible for the housework every day. It'll be like a work-study program. That works too. Chen Mengyan nodded. She also knew that there were such people who didn't want to be given alms, so she didn't take it seriously. After Yang Ming finished speaking, he felt ashamed in his heart. He had lied to Chen Mengyan once again. However, it couldn't be helped. He didn't want to let Chen Mengyan know too much. Yang Ming knew how much Chen Mengyan cared about him in her heart. He didn't want Chen Mengyan to worry about him every day. Chen Mengyan was different from Wang Xiaoyan and Sun Jia. She hadn't been exposed to society yet. After all, she was still young. She was a flower in a greenhouse. Her psychological endurance wasn't so strong. It seemed that he had to hurry up and find those forces behind the scenes so that they could be finished as soon as possible. He had been on tenterhooks all this time. What the hell was this? It was reasonable to say that he was rich and had a mistress at home. This life was simply like a celestial being. However, Yang Ming didn't enjoy the feeling of being a celestial being at all. The only thing that was similar to those who cultivated immortality was that he had the possibility of ascending to heaven at any time. After Lin Jiyun took a shower, Chen Mengyan told her about Victoria's matter. Lin Jiyun naturally agreed. It wasn't a big deal to have one more person at home. If it was someone of the same age, it would add some liveliness. Early the next morning, Yang Ming drove Lin Jiyun to school first, then he drove Chen Mengyan to the Songjiang International Hotel. Lin Jiyun originally wanted to accompany them, but she had a class in the morning, so she could only let Chen Mengyan go by herself. Yang Ming called Victoria. Mingxi, you pack up now and go downstairs. I'll pick you up to report. You're not monitoring Alice anymore? Asked Victoria. No need. During this time, Alice didn't do anything. It was probably the power of the arrest warrant that made the behind-the-scenes boss temporarily stop. It seemed that he wouldn't make trouble for a while. Yang Ming, let's go up and pick her up. Chen Mengyan was very enthusiastic. She's a girl. Isn't it inconvenient for her to carry so much luggage? Nothing much, just a notebook and a few clothes. Yang Ming sent her here, so he naturally knew how much luggage Victoria had. Oh. Chen Mengyan nodded and sat in the car. After a while, they saw Victoria come out of the hotel door with big and small bags. Chen Mengyan saw it and asked Yang Ming, is it her? Yes. Yang Ming nodded. Didn't you say that there was nothing? Chen Mengyan glared at Yang Ming and quickly got out of the car to help. Yang Ming was also very puzzled. When Victoria stayed in the hotel before, she didn't take anything at all. Why did she have so many things when she left this time? It was almost as if she was escaping. Right. Yang Ming suddenly thought of Victoria's seductive look when she wore a small leather jacket and a small leather skirt yesterday. It turns out that this woman really bought a lot of clothes online. Yang Ming helped Victoria open the trunk of the car and put her luggage in. While Chen Mengyan wasn't paying attention, Yang Ming glared at her. How did you buy so many things? I think it looks good. Victoria told the truth. Yang Ming didn't have any temper at all. When I gave Victoria the credit card, Yang Ming said that she could buy whatever she liked. If she had an opinion now, wouldn't it be equivalent to breaking his promise? Letting Chen Mengyan and Victoria sit in the back seat, Yang Ming started the car. Your name is Chen Mingxi. You didn't have a name before. Chen Mengyan was obviously curious about Victoria's background. People in my hometown call me Victoria. Victoria read all the information that Yang Ming gave her yesterday. For Chen Mengyan's questions, she could answer smoothly. Victoria, this name is very nice, but it is troublesome to register it. Chen Mengyan nodded. Except for ethnic minorities, it was rare to see such a name. Then, should I call you Mingxi or Victoria in the future? Both are fine. Victoria tried to keep a smile on her face, but she was used to being indifferent to people. Even if her heart was burning, her expression couldn't show that kind of enthusiasm. Yang Ming was not afraid that Victoria would expose himself, but he was afraid that his name would be exposed. So, in Victoria's information, this name became the name of her hometown. Chen Mengyan and Victoria asked and answered questions in the back. Chen Mengyan also felt that this Victoria was really not good at getting along with people. Although her tone was very flat, Chen Mengyan was not angry because she could feel that Victoria was already trying hard to communicate with her. Yang Ming naturally wouldn't interrupt in the front. He couldn't let Chen Mengyan see that he was familiar with Victoria. Victoria knows how to drive. You take her to get a license so that when you go out, you have a driver. Yang Ming said. She drove a four-wheeled agricultural vehicle in her hometown. Victoria rolled her eyes when she heard it. She hadn't even seen what a four-wheeled agricultural vehicle looked like. However, since Yang Ming said so, she couldn't refute it. She just nodded gloomily. How do you treat her as a driver? Chen Mengyan was a little angry with Yang Ming's words. How sad would this make Victoria? I asked for it. Victoria said, I live in your house, and you take me to school. If I don't do something, I will feel uncomfortable. This was also the words in the information, so Victoria said it. She didn't understand why Yang Ming didn't directly tell Chen Mengyan that he was her bodyguard. He made so many troublesome things. However, Yang Ming was her master, so Victoria could only listen to him. Yang Ming didn't have to worry about the registration. Chen Mengyan was the vice president of the student union of the School of Economics and Management. With her helping Victoria to register, it would be twice the result with half the effort. Chapter 1349. Lu Jifei reported his intention to cooperate with the Mingyang Security Company to the group's headquarters. Although it was doubtful that Lu Jifei could contact the Mingyang Security Company, this was a good thing after all. Lu Jiangyan's father also said that if this business could be achieved, Lu Jifei and Su Xiaobin would be valued in the Jiangyan group in the future. As a result, the letter of authorization to entrust Lu Jifei and Su Xiaobin with full responsibility for cooperation matters was issued from the Jiangyan Group's headquarters, followed by a notice of personnel appointment. The Jiangyan Group's office in Songjiang was officially changed to the Jiangyan Group Songjiang branch. Su Xiaobin was appointed as the general manager of the branch. Lu Jifei was appointed as the leader of the delegation to negotiate cooperation with the Mingyang Security Company this time, and Su Xiaobin was also the deputy leader. The meaning of this letter of appointment was obvious. If the cooperation was negotiated, Lu Jifei, as the leader of the delegation, would be promoted and valued when he returned to the group's headquarters. Su Xiaobin, as the deputy leader of the delegation, would also keep the position of the general manager of the branch. However, if the cooperation was not negotiated, then the delegation was automatically dismissed. The leader, Lu Jifei, would do what he should do. Although the deputy leader, Su Xiaobin, was still the general manager of the group's Songjiang branch, he still had no real power. Such a branch was no different from an office, and the cost of maintenance would be higher, but the group's funds would not be increased. Therefore, Su Xiaobin had to work hard to facilitate this cooperation. After getting the letter of authorization, it meant that Su Xiaobin could do something with great fanfare. Su Xiaobin was very excited. Looking at the current situation, this Lu Jifei seemed to be here to earn performance, but he was just talking behind the scenes. All the work was still done by Su Xiaobin. However, Su Xiaobin did not feel that there was anything wrong with it. If there was no Lu Jifei, he would not have thought of getting in touch with Bao Sonli. Without Lu Jifei, the young master Lu, operating inside the group, even if he got in touch with Bao Sonli, the cooperation project might not be allowed by the group. Therefore, it was not a big deal for Su Xiaobin to do more. When the cooperation was launched, he, as the general manager of the Songjiang branch, would benefit more. Although Lu Jifei could directly enter the group's headquarters with this performance, Su Xiaobin was not envious. Lu Jifei's surname was Lu. Su Xiaobin's current results were already good among his relatives. Moreover, if they went to the headquarters of the group, although there would be development in the future, they would also face competition. He was an external manager. Although his development potential was not good, it was a lucrative job. In this Songjiang branch company, he had the final say. He could do whatever he wanted. Thinking of this, Su Xiaobin was already very satisfied. As long as this cooperation was successful, then his future days would be good. Although his former girlfriend didn't say anything, Su Xiaobin obviously felt his girlfriend's dissatisfaction with him. Su Xiaobin's girlfriend, Wang Lixia, was beautiful. She was also the campus belle in school. She also saw that Su Xiaobin had the Lu family's background. She sat in the position of the group's office manager in her early 20s, so she was with him. In the beginning, it was okay. Su Xiaobin was considered to be one of the best among their classmates, and he had a lot of face during the class reunion. However, after a few years, almost all of the classmates around her had successful careers, especially the few sisters in the original dormitory. One of them was not as beautiful as her. She found a boyfriend to be the sales manager of the city's chemical company. She had a monthly income of 30 to 40,000 yuan, so there was a comparison all of a sudden. Wang Lixia looked at Su Xiaobin again. He had been in the position of the office manager for several years, and she was a little irritated. However, she had already slept with him, and she was not young anymore. Thinking about breaking up, Wang Lixia was not reconciled. Although Su Xiaobin couldn't be considered to have a successful career now, he was better than the best. At least, he could earn 100,000 yuan a year. He was a petty bourgeois. Moreover, Wang Lixia also had feelings for Su Xiaobin, so she did not mention breaking up. However, she had long been dissatisfied with Su Xiaobin's current situation. Xiaobin, what does this Lu Jifei do? Isn't he just a branch of the Lu family? You entertain him all day long with good food and drinks. I don't think he is much better than you. Wang Lixia couldn't help but complain. She saw that Lu Jifei had come recently, and a lot of money was spent by Su Xiaobin. She felt uncomfortable in her heart. She now understood that although Lu Jifei's surname was Lu, he was similar to Su Xiaobin. He was not a direct descendant of the Lu family, so he basically had no development potential. Otherwise, Su Xiaobin couldn't stay in the position of the office manager for a few years. Although he changed several cities to be the office manager midway, there was no difference at all. What do you know? I tell you, Lixia, this time I am really going to be rich. Do you know? Su Xiaobin was a little proud. Our good days are coming. You don't have to be ashamed in front of your classmates anymore. What do you mean? Is it the security company cooperation that you talked about in the past 2 days? Wang Lixia was puzzled. Is there really a chance? Of course. I didn't know if it would work before, but today, the group headquarters has sent a letter of authorization. It should be mailed soon. Su Xiaobin said excitedly, Lu Jifei is still very powerful. The group has given us support. As long as the group supports us, this matter will be successful. I say, Xiaobin, Lu Jifei is jumping up and down. He even went to the group for activities. You have to be careful. Don't be stupid and work for nothing. If this matter is successful, what if Lu Jifei takes credit himself? Wang Lixia said with some worry, when he gets promoted with this performance and doesn't care about you anymore, won't you suffer a hidden loss? No matter what, his surname is Lu, and your surname is Su. You women are short-sighted. Su Xiaobin smiled and waved his hand. If this cooperation can really be successful, Brother Fei will definitely be promoted and be put in an important position by the group. As for me, entering the headquarters is something that I don't even think about. Then, why are you still following him? If he leaves, won't you still be the manager of this broken office? Wang Lixia was somewhat puzzled. How do I tell you? Su Xiaobin shook his head. Women have long hair but short insight. What's wrong with me being the manager of this office? If the cooperation is successful and Brother Fei is promoted, who do you think will be in charge of the cooperation business in Songjiang? You! Wang Lixia suddenly screamed and rushed into Su Xiaobin's arms. It turns out to be like this. In the future, you will have more power as the office manager. You will be responsible for the operation of the company. There will definitely be many benefits. Now you know why I am so active, right? Isn't it for you to have a good life in the future? Su Xiaobin said proudly. Dear, you are so nice. Wang Lixia only felt hot all over. She reached out to untie Su Xiaobin's pants, cough cough. There was a cough outside the door. Wang Lixia was shocked and quickly stopped the movement of her hands. Both of them looked at the door in amazement. They saw Lu Jifei excitedly walking in with a special delivery. Xiaobin, the group's letter of authorization and personnel appointment has been received. You two go home and do other things at night. I don't want to scold you, but now we still have important business to do. Although Lu Jifei said it in a dignified manner, his eyes were looking at Wang Lixia, whose face was flushed. He thought, this chick is really good. It would be great if I could play with her all night. It seems that I have to find a place to vent in a while. I really didn't notice that this Wang Lixia is a little slut. She is in a hurry to do that thing with Su Xiaobin in the office. It seems that her desires are not satisfied. Thinking of this, Lu Jifei planned to find an opportunity to play with her. It's here. That's great. Su Xiaobin did not notice Lu Jifei's eyes. He was completely immersed in the excitement of the letter of authorization. Then we can continue to discuss cooperation with President Bao. Yes, let's get this done as soon as possible. Lu Jifei said, although the group appointed me as the head of the cooperation negotiation delegation this time, you were in charge of this matter before. You should still negotiate. I won't participate. You know that I'm here to earn performance. I'll be low-key and give you space to play. I understand. Don't worry, Brother Fei. Just leave everything to me. Su Xiaobin didn't want Lu Jifei to influence his negotiations. Now that Lu Jifei said so, it meant that he could have the final say. Su Xiaobin enjoyed this feeling. Chapter 1350. It was better if there was no Lu Jifei. He would become the highest decision-maker in the negotiation. Lu Jifei was busy dealing with the lust in his body. He talked to Su Xiaobin casually and ran out quickly. His mind began to involuntarily fantasize about Wang Lixia's previous appearance. I must find a chance to mess with her. Lu Jifei's heart was itching. As a woman, Wang Lixia was very sensitive to Lu Jifei's malicious gaze. After Lu Jifei left, Wang Lixia whispered to Su Xiaobin, Xiaobin, the way Lu Jifei looked at me just now was not right. What's wrong? Su Xiaobin was stunned. He didn't understand why Wang Lixia suddenly said this. Did you provoke him? That's not it. Wang Lixia shook her head. I mean, the way he looked at me was very, just like when you want me. That kind of gaze is very lecherous. Ah. Su Xiaobin was stunned after listening to Wang Lixia's words, and then he smiled. Lixia, are you thinking too much? Brother Fei doesn't lack women. He has his own company. What kind of women can't he have? How can he have thoughts about you? Did you misunderstand? No, I didn't misunderstand. Wang Lixia shook her head. Xiaobin, you are not a woman. You don't understand. How can I not know what the way a man looks at me means? Lixia, I think you really think too much about this. Su Xiaobin obviously didn't believe Wang Lixia's words. I think it's probably because when Brother Fei came in, we were about to do that, so Brother Fei looked at you a little mischievously, right? That's also possible. After listening to Su Xiaobin's words, Wang Lixia also felt that she was thinking too much. Lu Jifei's situation was different from Su Xiaobin's. Lu Jifei had his own company, and he had millions of income every year. How could he lack women around him? Thinking of this, she shook her head self-deprecatingly. Maybe I'm too sensitive. Come on, don't think so much. Today is a good day. Let's continue to finish what we haven't done just now. Su Xiaobin immediately threw what Wang Lixia said to the back of his mind and said with a smile. What's the matter? Wang Lixia looked at Su Xiaobin's appearance and asked knowingly. Something that we both like to do. Su Xiaobin picked Wang Lixia up and walked into the room. Yeah, you are so annoying. Wang Lixia pouted. She also forgot that Lu Jifei looked at her with a strange gaze. After Lu Jifei went out, he found a karaoke hole. He went in and called a lady. Then, he went into the private room and started doing it. His mind was thinking about Wang Lixia's charming figure, and his mouth kept shouting, Lixia. Lixia. The young lady was used to seeing such customers. She couldn't get them in real life, so when she came here, she imagined that the person under her was her dream lover. Thinking of this, the young lady couldn't help but despise Lu Jifei. This kid must have fallen out of love in reality. However, even though she despised him, he was still her guest. The young lady also cooperated and shouted. Lu Jifei never dreamed that his idea would lead to such a big disaster. But now, he still didn't know. His mind kept thinking about how to get Wang Lixia into bed. The cooperation between the Haiqing Jiangyan Group and the Song Jiangming Yang Security Company officially entered the negotiation agenda. The representative of the Jiangyan Group was Su Xiaobin, and the representative of the Ming Yang Security Company was Jing Xiaolu. Su Xiaobin never dared to despise this woman, and it turned out that this woman was not an ordinary shrewd person. She argued strongly for the interests of Ming Yang Security. After a few days of negotiation, Su Xiaobin was exhausted as if he had collapsed. Brother Fei, the other party's vice president Jing, is too powerful. In terms of interests, she really doesn't give in at all. Su Xiaobin sat in the office and drank with Lu Jifei. Lu Jifei's eyes wandered back and forth on Wang Lixia, who was serving the dishes on the table. Suddenly, he heard Su Xiaobin mention Jing Xiaolu, and the anger in Lu Jifei's heart was not ordinary. I know that Jing Xiaolu. I don't know who she hugged, but she actually became a vice president. Lu Jifei was very clear about who Jing Xiaolu hugged. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to deal with Yang Ming's company. But now there was a turn of events. He didn't expect that the person in charge of the negotiation was actually Jing Xiaolu. Lu Jifei was very happy. This is great. Not only can I teach Yang Ming a lesson, but I can also teach Jing Xiaolu a lesson. Jing Xiaolu is in charge of this negotiation. When there is really a problem, I believe that Yang Ming will not spare Jing Xiaolu. When the time comes, you two can fight among yourselves. It's best to fight. Lu Jifei thought insidiously, and his mouth couldn't help but show a smile. This Jing Xiaolu is still capable. Su Xiaobin waved his hand. Although she is young, you can't underestimate her. She is really not easy to deal with. If I didn't always want to come back and report the results of the negotiation to you, I would have agreed to her conditions on the spot. Her conditions seem to be a big bargain for us, but in fact, their company is the beneficiary. Hearing Su Xiaobin say that Jing Xiaolu was powerful, Lu Jifei somehow felt a lot more comfortable in his heart. If what Su Xiaobin said was true, he was not wronged by Jing Xiaolu. Thinking of this, Lu Jifei's anger also dissipated. Oh. Then what is the main stalemate between you two now? Isn't it still the problem of who is in charge after the company is established? Su Xiaobin smiled bitterly. Everything else is a small matter. The dominance is the big deal. She and I don't want to give up the dominance. If we can take the dominance, the group's old man will also look up to us. Oh, so that's it. Lu Jifei was thinking about his next plan, but he didn't care much about the dominance issue. Maybe he could make a fuss about it. Thinking of this, Lu Jifei said, then let them take the lead. Ah. Are we giving up? Su Xiaobin looked at Lu Jifei strangely. Aren't we going to fight for it? I think we should at least fight for more shares, right? Don't fight for it. Give them the dominance. Lu Jifei had an idea in his heart in an instant. He intended to take advantage of this dominance to make some fuss. Su Xiaobin felt that he was really unwilling to give up the dominance. You also know that the young masters in the group are looking at us as a joke. Lu Jifei said, if this thing fails, then we will be laughed at. Moreover, in terms of dominance, it was not a good thing at all. This escort business has risks and responsibilities. They can take the dominance, but if something happens in the future, the dominant party will be fully responsible for it. Okay. Hearing Lu Jifei say this, Su Xiaobin also felt that Lu Jifei's words were reasonable. First, it was because the group was watching closely. If there was no progress for too long, it was hard to guarantee that those young masters would not take the opportunity to make trouble. It would not be good if something happened at that time. It was better to finalize it as soon as possible. Secondly, Lu Jifei was right. If the dominant party wanted the right to speak, then they also had to bear the risks. Thinking that he would be responsible for the company in the future, what if something happened? Previously, Su Xiaobin fought for the right to speak because he wanted to stay and be responsible for the company. He wanted to be able to speak in the future, but now it seemed that the risk was great. It was better to give it to the other party. Anyway, the other party was rich and powerful in Songjiang. They could settle all aspects, and he could just sit back and enjoy the fruits of their labor. Thinking of this, Su Xiaobin also agreed. Then I will talk to their people tomorrow. Probably after this dominance is determined, there will be no problem. And then you should pay more attention to this matter and finalize it as soon as possible, so as to avoid any unexpected events. Lu Jifei nodded. After drinking a lot of wine, Lu Jifei's eyes looking at Wang Lixia became more and more malicious. However, because Su Xiaobin was here, Lu Jifei couldn't do anything. After drinking, he returned to the hotel with the help of Li Zhan. On Jing Xiaolu's side, she was actually very distressed. The bottom line that Bao Sanli gave her was that she could actually give up the dominance. After all, the business involved was not a field that the Mingyang Security Company was familiar with, and the other party had many years of experience, so this dominance was not necessary. However, this was Jing Xiaolu's first business negotiation. She wanted to do better and impress Yang Ming, so she had been very insistent on the dominance. The other party did not want to give up, so the negotiations were in a deadlock. Today was already the 5th day of negotiations. The other terms were determined 3 days ago. The Mingyang Security Company was responsible for opening up social relations. The Jiangyan Group provided the technology and equipment, and was responsible for the security training of the new company. Both parties held half of the shares, but this half referred to 49 or 51%. The 51% would belong to whoever was in charge of it. Of course, the party with a small share could also occupy the dominance, but generally, such a situation was rare. Unless the other party was a wholly owned investor or a high-proportion investor, the operator's shares would be relatively small. Chapter 1351. Su Xiaobin still came to the agreed negotiation location, Huihai Business Club, on time. This was a business venue that specialized in business negotiations with companies. There were small meeting rooms, large meeting rooms, restrooms, restaurants, and so on. It was the kind of hotel with strong professional focus. This was not the territory of Ming Yang Entertainment, nor was it the territory of the Jiangyan Group. The reason why they chose a place that had nothing to do with both parties was to reflect the fairness of the negotiation. Otherwise, there would be a kind of pressure in their hearts when they talked about things in other people's territory. This was also why many entrepreneurs did not discuss cooperation in their own company's meeting rooms, but in places like special business clubs, tea restaurants, and the like. President Su, sorry to keep you waiting. Jing Xiaolu smiled and walked into the agreed meeting room. There was a traffic jam on the road today. Sorry for being a little late. It doesn't matter. We just arrived. Su Xiaobin brought a lawyer here. This lawyer was sent by Lu Jifei. He was from Lu Jifei's company. Su Xiaobin also understood that this might be Lu Jifei's informant, but he didn't care. Lu Jifei did not come in person, but he always had to have a confidant here. Talking about contracts required the presence of a lawyer, so Su Xiaobin didn't have to find a lawyer again. Although this person was Lu Jifei's man, Yang Ming and Lu Jifei now had common interests. Lu Jifei wouldn't send a fool. This lawyer must belong to Yang Ming's side, so Yang Ming's side wouldn't suffer a loss. In addition to the lawyer, there were several followers who were temporarily transferred from Lu Jifei's own trading company. They were also his confidants. Jing Xiaolu also brought a lawyer and several employees. However, she was still in the lead of the negotiation. The others were just here to cheer and help. President Su, are we still studying the future dominance of the company today? Jing Xiaolu had a headache. This problem had troubled her for several days, and she had been in a deadlock. Jing Xiaolu thought, if it doesn't work today, then I will give up this dominance. Just give it to the other party. Yes, but our negotiation seems to have new progress today. Su Xiaobin smiled. Oh. What does President Su mean? Jing Xiaolu's eyes lit up. Su Xiaobin meant that he wanted to compromise. Yesterday, I discussed with the group's people. We can give up this dominance. Su Xiaobin said straightforwardly. Since he had already decided, there was no need for him to beat around the bush. There was no point in doing so. Jing Xiaolu was stunned. She didn't expect Su Xiaobin to be so direct, but then there was joy. It seems that our negotiations are really making progress. Yeah, our group's intention is to facilitate this cooperation as soon as possible. The time has been delayed for too long, said Su Xiaobin. Jing Xiaolu nodded. She thought, it turns out that it is because it has been a long time. However, isn't this Su Xiaobin too straightforward? Could there be some kind of conspiracy behind this? Jing Xiaolu was a conspiracy theorist, so when she saw that things were unpredictable, she wondered if there was something fishy going on. In that case, can we enter the stage of drafting the contract? Jing Xiaolu asked. It's fine for us to give up the right to lead, but we'll have to add another condition to the contract. Su Xiaobin said, in the future, if something happens to the company, the leading party must take full responsibility. In layman's terms, if you take the lead, then you are responsible for settling anything that happens. Oh. Jing Xiaolu listened to Su Xiaobin's words and understood a little. It turned out to be like this. No wonder they would give up the right to lead. There are additional conditions in this. However, in this way, Jing Xiaolu was relieved. If the other party did not have any additional requirements and unconditionally gave up the right to lead, then there would be a problem. Now that the other party added additional conditions, it was understandable. Su Xiaobin's request was not difficult to understand. After all, they were a fierce dragon crossing the river. They were not a local company. Whether it was in terms of connections or local forces, they were not as good as her. Therefore, the other party gave up the right to lead, but she was also responsible for the company's management problems. Jing Xiaolu thought about it. With Bao Sanli's current status in Songjiang, there should be no problem, so she said, "Okay, I will report this matter to President Bao now. If he agrees, then we will start drafting the contract." "Okay, Vice President Jing, please." Su Xiaobin nodded, indicating that Jing Xiaolu could go out and make the call. Out of the conference room, Jing Xiaolu dialed Bao Sanli's cell phone. "President Bao, this is Xiaolu. Xiaolu, how is the negotiation on your side? Is there any progress? Do you need me to help you with anything?" Bao Sanli could be said to be quite polite to Jing Xiaolu, mainly because Yang Ming was behind her. Although Bao Sanli himself was also a confidant of Yang Ming, Jing Xiaolu was Yang Ming's woman. In contrast, Bao Sanli felt that he was still inferior. However, it couldn't be helped. Whether it was Yang Ming or himself, they were not lovers of broken backs, so he could only do this. "President Bao, this is the case. I want to report to you about the progress of the negotiation." Jing Xiaolu still gave Bao Sanli enough respect. She knew that Yang Ming was most annoyed with girls who were arrogant because they were spoiled. "He, what is there to report? If there is anything, just say it directly." Bao Sanli knew that Jing Xiaolu was polite to him, but he was not arrogant. This is the case. Today, Su Xiaobin took the initiative to give up the right to lead the company, but he added an additional condition, said Jing Xiaolu. "Oh. What is the condition?" asked Bao Sanli. Su Xiaobin added a condition. "In the future, if something happens to the company, the leading party must take full responsibility," said Jing Xiaolu. "Oh. He is afraid that if something happens to the company in the future, they can't handle it, so he wants us to handle it." Bao Sanli understood the meaning of Su Xiaobin and thought about it. This can be promised to them. There is no problem. "Well, I will answer them here," Jing Xiaolu said when she heard Bao Sanli agree. "Okay, if there is anything, call me at any time," said Bao Sanli. Back in the conference room, Jing Xiaolu smiled and said to Su Xiaobin, "President Su, our President Bao has agreed to your condition. Okay, since this is the case, there is no problem between us. We can draw up the contract." Su Xiaobin nodded. "We have already agreed on the previous terms. We just need to add this latest one." "That's the case." Jing Xiaolu nodded. Both sides brought their assistants and lawyers. These things were what they needed to do. Jing Xiaolu and Su Xiaobin were casually talking about the future development prospects of the company, waiting for them to make the contract. Most of the terms of the contract were drawn up before. Under the research of the lawyers of both sides, new terms were added. After determining the right to lead, the contract was released. "President Jing, President Su, the contract has been made." The lawyers of both sides said, "There is no problem after review." "Okay, in this case, let's confirm the signing time." Su Xiaobin nodded and said to Jing Xiaolu, "I can sign the contract on behalf of the Jiangyan Group. I don't know if President Jing will sign the contract with you or President Bao." Chapter 1352. We still need President Bao to come forward. Jing Xiaolu smiled and said, in this case, we will take the contract back and study it. If there is no problem, I will sign the contract with President Bao at 9 o'clock tomorrow. No problem. See you at 9 o'clock tomorrow. Su Xiaobin and Jing Xiaolu shook hands. Both sides began to pack up their things and left the conference room. The contract was confirmed, and both Jing Xiaolu and Su Xiaobin were relaxed. When they went out, Jing Xiaolu first called Bao Sanli and told him about signing the contract at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Bao Sanli said that there was no problem and that he would be there. After calling Bao Sanli, Jing Xiaolu dialed Yang Ming's phone. Xiaolu. Yang Ming was at Fang Tian's house, discussing going to Europe together tomorrow. Fang Tian's ticket had been booked. He flew directly from Donghai International Airport to Europe's Butterfly Castle at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Yang Ming, the cooperation with the Jiangyan Group has been discussed. Our company has 51% of the shares, and the leadership is in our hands. Jing Xiaolu said. Hee, not bad. You're quite good. Yang Ming praised after listening. Yang Ming also did a general understanding of the Jiangyan Group. It was one of the largest private enterprises in the north. The most important business it dabbled in was the bank deposit business. I didn't lose face for you, right? Jing Xiaolu heard Yang Ming praise her, and her heart was even sweeter. She had always wanted to be a useful person to Yang Ming, a helper to Yang Ming. Now it seemed that she had achieved this. How can you say that you lost face for me? You are now working for Bao Sanli. You represent the company. Yang Ming smiled. But everyone now thinks that I am your person. Jing Xiaolu said coquettishly. Yang Ming sweated. Jing Xiaolu's words were really a bit difficult to answer. Her words made Yang Ming feel a little ambiguous. This statement could mean that in the eyes of others, Jing Xiaolu was a member of Yang Ming's faction. This statement was normal in the officialdom and some big enterprises. However, on the other hand, Jing Xiaolu was a girl, and she had a little ambiguous relationship with him. When she said this, it didn't just represent the superficial meaning. There was a deeper meaning. Yang Ming knew that Jing Xiaolu might have said this deliberately, but he couldn't find any fault with it. He could only pretend that he didn't understand and said, yes, I arranged for you to enter. Everyone thinks that you are my trusted aide. And your woman. Jing Xiaolu added a sentence for Yang Ming in her heart, but she didn't say it out loud. She knew that many things were enough as long as she hinted at them. There was no point in saying more, and it would only make Yang Ming unhappy. I'm going to sign the contract tomorrow. Are you going? Jing Xiaolu asked. I'm going to work in another place tomorrow. You can ask Bao Sanli to go. Yang Ming would rush to Donghai early in the morning, and then fly to Europe with Fang Tian to break off the engagement. Ah. You are going out. Jing Xiaolu wanted to ask Yang Ming to go to a class reunion, but when she heard that Yang Ming was going out, she was a little disappointed. Why? Do you have something to do? Yang Ming felt that Jing Xiaolu wanted to say something, so he asked. I have a class reunion at the end of the month. Sister Xiniao and brother Bai Hai will also go. They also invited me. Jing Xiaolu hesitated and said, everyone will bring their boyfriends. If I don't, others will look down on me, look down on you. Yang Ming broke into a sweat. What kind of messy theory is this? She probably wants me to accompany her, but she is too embarrassed to ask, so she made up such a reason. However, Yang Ming really didn't have a good reason to go. He was almost a professional pretending to be someone else's boyfriend. First, it was Lin Jiyun, then it was Zhao Ying. Now, he guessed that Jing Xiaolu also had the same idea. However, Yang Ming was really embarrassed to refuse directly. Now, his impression of Jing Xiaolu was quite good, and his relationship with her was also good. Yang Ming had to say, "This time, I will need at least a week to come back. If I'm slow, it may take half a month. I guess I won't be able to make it to your class reunion. There's no other way, it's okay." The class reunion is scheduled before the May Day holiday, which is the end of April. It is now the end of March. There is plenty of time. Jing Xiaolu was excited after listening to Yang Ming's words. Yang Ming didn't expect that this class reunion was still a month away. He thought that since Jing Xiaolu mentioned it now, it must be in the next few days. He didn't expect it to be a month later. "I said that I can come back in half a month at the latest. If I don't agree with Jing Xiaolu, it really doesn't make sense." Yang Ming couldn't help it. "Who asked me to be so fast? I didn't ask Jing Xiaolu about the class reunion first." Thinking of this, Yang Ming had to bite the bullet and said, "Well, wait for me to come back. Let's contact each other again and discuss this matter." "Thank you, Yang Ming." Jing Xiaolu also knew that she had used a little trick. She was a little embarrassed. "If there is really no time, I won't force it." Hearing that Jing Xiaolu had the intention to admit her mistake, Yang Ming's heart was a little more comfortable. Although Jing Xiaolu liked to play some little tricks, she never hid anything from him. Yang Ming said, "It's okay. If there is nothing, I will accompany you." "That's great." Jing Xiaolu waved her fist. She didn't expect her words to have such a great effect. Originally, Yang Ming just said that he would discuss the class reunion when he came back. She didn't expect Yang Ming to say that as long as there was nothing, he would accompany her. Thinking of this, Jing Xiaolu completely grasped Yang Ming's mentality. He was a person who could be persuaded by reason but not cowed by force. The softer you were, the more he couldn't do anything to you. In fact, Jing Xiaolu also guessed it right. For a person with strong male chauvinism like Yang Ming, the more you quarreled with him, the more annoyed he would be. On the contrary, if you acted coquettishly and pretended to be pitiful, Yang Ming really couldn't do anything. Yang Ming didn't want to leave as soon as he came back. He hadn't stayed at home for a few days, and he had to go far away. However, he had to go. This time, he was going to break off the engagement. If he didn't do it well, he might marry another wife. It would be even more troublesome then. He told Chen Mengyan that he had something to do and had to go out. Chen Mengyan now knew that Yang Ming was different from the past. His career was getting bigger and bigger, and he had even gone abroad. Therefore, if Yang Ming had something to do, she wouldn't interfere. She just reminded Yang Ming to be careful when he was alone outside. As for the safety of Chen Mengyan and Lin Jiyun, Yang Ming was not worried. With Victoria protecting them, it was difficult for ordinary people to hurt them. Zhou Jiejia and Xiao Qing lived in the school, so he believed that there wouldn't be any problems. As for Wang Xiaoyan, Yang Ming didn't have much contact with her during this time. Knowing that Zhao Ying lived with her, Yang Ming didn't dare to harass her. However, since he was going to leave, Yang Ming decided to call her and tell her. "Yang Ming. I was about to call you. You called me first." Wang Xiaoyan sat in the departure hall of Donghai International Airport and picked up Yang Ming's phone call. She just arrived at Donghai International Airport and just changed her boarding pass. She was about to find a place to sit down and call Yang Ming when Yang Ming's phone call came in. "You want to call me?" "What's the matter?" asked Yang Ming. "I'm at the airport. There's something at home. They asked me to go back." Wang Xiaoyan said, "When I get there, if the phone can't roam, I may change the number. I will contact you again." "You're leaving too?" Yang Ming was stunned. He didn't expect things to be so coincidental. Wang Xiaoyan had already arrived at the airport. Yeah, I can't help it. There's something at home. I have to go back. Wang Xiaoyan was very happy when she thought that she could break off the engagement. She didn't notice the word "to" in Yang Ming's words. Right, Yang Ming, Sister Zhao Ying is at my house. I won't be there for a few days. You can accompany her. Of course, you can pretend that you are looking for me and accidentally bumped into her. What? She knows about us. Yang Ming was shocked. Listening to Wang Xiaoyan's words, it seemed that Zhao Ying knew something. Otherwise, why would I look for Wang Xiaoyan for no reason? Chapter 1353. After Yang Ming asked this sentence, he felt that his question was a little funny. From the internet, he already knew that Zhao Ying saw him and Wang Xiaoyan together. His question was somewhat superfluous. Although it had not been said on the surface, Zhao Ying definitely knew. However, listening to Wang Xiaoyan's meaning, she seemed to have made some things clear with Zhao Ying. So, do I have a chance? If Zhao Ying accepts Wang Xiaoyan, can my relationship with Zhao Ying go further? Of course, I know. Otherwise, wouldn't we have been estranged for a long time? Wang Xiaoyan said with a smile, don't worry. Sister Ying's knot has been resolved. You can look for her without worry. This time, I created an opportunity for you. You have to grasp it well. Yen, I also have to go out. Your opportunity, it seems that I don't have the luck to enjoy it. Yang Ming couldn't help but smile bitterly after listening. However, Yang Ming was very happy that Wang Xiaoyan and Zhao Ying could bury the hatchet and become good friends again. After all, if Zhao Ying and Wang Xiaoyan were to fight, it would be difficult for him to be in the middle. Zhao Ying and he entered the Cold War again this time, more or less because of Wang Xiaoyan. Therefore, the two of them had reconciled. As long as he worked hard, he believed that Zhao Ying would change her mind. It was just that he had to go out this time. There was no way. Such a good opportunity was wasted. You are going out, too. No way, right? Wang Xiaoyan heard that Yang Ming was going out, too. She suddenly felt a little strange. Why are you going out? With my master, said Yang Ming. Oh, that's it. Seeing that Yang Ming didn't say much, Wang Xiaoyan thought it was a confidential matter, so she didn't ask much. Although Yang Ming and her were close, Yang Ming certainly couldn't talk about his master's matters casually. That's a pity. I still want to create some opportunities for you. There is no way, but I will try to come back early before you, said Yang Ming. That's the only way. Right, are you going abroad? Or are you in China? Asked Wang Xiaoyan. Naturally, I am going abroad. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. Probably we can't contact each other. I have something to say when I come back. That is the only way. Wang Xiaoyan said with some regret. She also wanted to inform Yang Ming about the news of her success in breaking off the engagement. If possible, she wanted to bring Yang Ming home to see her father. Although Yang Ming was her own choice, and she wouldn't give up in any case, Wang Xiaoyan was also very willing to see the recognition of her family. She believed that with Yang Ming's ability, he should be able to get her father's attention. After hanging up the phone, Yang Ming walked out of the study. Today was the last night to sleep at home. Naturally, he had to be intimate with Qin Mengyan and Lin Jiyun. It was just that Zhou Jijia wasn't at home. He couldn't go to Xiao Qing's place. Otherwise, what about Zhou Jijia? Sun Jia was in Donghai. If he was free tomorrow, he could go and see her first, but he might not have time. Thinking of this, Yang Ming couldn't help but sigh. Why am I so busy? There was a song called The Cowboy is Busy. Yang Ming felt that he was busier than the cowboy. Early the next morning, Yang Ming called Bao Sanli and asked him to drive him to the villa area. Yang Ming couldn't drive to the airport because he had to go far, so he asked Bao Sanli to send him to Fang Tian's house. After waiting for a while at the door, he saw Jing Xiaolu's BMW stop in front of him. The door of the front passenger seat opened, and Jing Xiaolu poked her head out from inside. Get in the car, Chairman Yang. Why are you here? Yang Ming opened the door and got in the car. Where is Bao Sanli? I'm going to sign the contract in a while. He has to prepare materials in the company. He's too busy, so I came to pick you up. Jing Xiaolu said naturally. He's too busy, and you're free. Isn't this cooperation negotiated by you? Yang Ming didn't believe Jing Xiaolu's words. Hee, you're going out. Can't I send you? Jing Xiaolu didn't deny it this time, but she changed the topic. Okay, of course, you can. Yang Ming nodded. How is it? Are you used to driving this car? Nonsense. How can I not be used to such a good car? Jing Xiaolu said, you don't know. The people in the company are envious of me. Even Sister Xinyao is envious of me. Then you're like this now. If you go to the class reunion, even if you don't have a boyfriend, won't you still be very popular? How can anyone look down on you? Yang Ming asked with a smile. Ah. Jing Xiaolu didn't expect that she would fall into the trap set by herself. She was speechless for a while. Yang Ming looked at Jing Xiaolu's embarrassment, and he found it funny. Well, I just want you to accompany me. Is that okay? Jing Xiaolu was a hoodlum. She said her thoughts directly. Okay. I didn't say no. When Jing Xiaolu said so, Yang Ming really didn't refute. Girls sometimes had this advantage. After making a mistake, they could still do it righteously. I know you are the best to me. Jing Xiaolu smiled. Don't think so much. Work hard, said Yang Ming. I know. Haven't I been working hard? Jing Xiaolu nodded. Yang Ming didn't let Jing Xiaolu send him to Fang Tian's door. For Fang Tian's matter, Yang Ming still tried not to let others know. The fact that he was the apprentice of the King of Assassins was a secret. If it was spread out, it would definitely cause a lot of trouble. Stopping at the door of the villa area, Yang Ming got out of the car and waved to Jing Xiaolu. I wish you a smooth signing of the contract. I wish you a pleasant journey. Jing Xiaolu also smiled and waved. She originally wanted to say bon voyage, but she thought that Yang Ming was taking a plane. It seemed that it was not auspicious to say bon voyage, so she changed it to bon voyage. After Yang Ming waited for Jing Xiaolu to drive away, he turned and entered the villa area. When he came to Fang Tian's villa, he saw a Land Rover Discovery 4 parked there. Yang Ming was a bit puzzled. This car had not been listed in the domestic market yet. He didn't know who got it. It seemed that there were a lot of rich people in this community, and their connections were quite wide. When he entered the villa, he heard voices inside. When he looked up, he found that Dong Jun was also there. At this moment, he was chatting with Fang Tian. Senior brother is also here. Yang Ming nodded to Dong Jun as a greeting. I will send you and master to the airport in a while. Dong Jun smiled. I know you can't drive, so I will be the driver. Hee, I'm still worried about this. Yang Ming smiled after listening. It seems that someone is sending me off this time. Dong Jun happened to be in Songjiang, so I asked him to send us, said Fang Tian. Of course. Even if he isn't here, I will come back. Dong Jun said quickly. Yang Ming looked at Dong Jun and nodded. He asked, Senior brother, what have you been busy with recently? It's nothing much. I just wandered around and helped a few children go to school. Dong Jun shrugged. My days are carefree. Hee, that's quite leisure. It would be great if I could switch with senior brother. Yang Ming smiled after listening. What switch? You are going to inherit master's legacy. How can you be idle like me? Dong Jun was stunned, then he smiled. Even if you want to switch, master will not agree. I'm just joking. Yang Ming indifferently changed the topic. Senior brother, is the Land Rover at the door yours? When Yang Ming saw Dong Jun here, he thought of this possibility. Dong Jun liked cars very much. He guessed that this Land Rover Discovery 4 was obtained by him. Otherwise, others would not have this kind of connection. This car was just released, and it was rare abroad. It's mine. How is it? Not bad, right? Dong Jun smiled. This car was just imported from abroad. It has only been a few days since it got off the ship. Not bad. It's quite powerful. Yang Ming nodded. Senior brother spends a lot of money on it every year, right? Yeah, hee. Dong Jun smiled. Let's not talk about this. Are we leaving now? It's almost time. Let's go. Fong Tian nodded. The three people went out together. Yang Ming sat in the front passenger seat, and Fong Tian sat in the back. Dong Jun started the car and slowly left the villa area. Senior brother, is your car a Mount Jing license plate? After Yang Ming got in the car, he smiled and asked, why is it not Song Jiang's? Chapter 1354. Oh, you're talking about this. Dong Jun smiled after listening. Mount Jing's license plate starts with the word Jing. Unlike our Songnan province, Songjiang's license plate starts with Songbi. There are only a few good license plates, and they are all obtained by the bosses with connections. Relatively speaking, Mount Jing has more license plates. It is easier to get a good license plate. It turns out to be like this. Yang Ming nodded after listening. I thought senior brother didn't care about these. It's for luck. Dong Jun laughed. But junior brother, you have a lot of connections. You can even get the Song B88 license plates. Senior brother is very impressed. A friend got it. Yang Ming said, yours is not bad, quiet E33333. After a few words, the car got on the highway. Yang Ming stopped talking and closed his eyes. Dong Jun saw that Yang Ming wanted to rest, so he closed his mouth. After the Songjiang to Donghai Highway was renovated a while ago, the car could also run. It was just a little more than an hour's drive. After sending Yang Ming and Fong Tian to the security check, Dong Jun left. In terms of time, he couldn't make it to see Sun Jia. This time, the itinerary was a bit tight. Although there was still more than an hour before boarding, it was always better not to delay it. However, Yang Ming still called Sun Jia and told her that he was going out. He was now at Donghai International Airport, but he couldn't make it. He couldn't see her. Sun Jia heard that Yang Ming went abroad for business, so she didn't ask Yang Ming in detail what he was going to do. Now, she rarely asked about Yang Ming's affairs. This man had grown up. From the little boy who was shy when he saw her at first, he had become a man who could shelter her from the wind and rain. Only when Yang Ming really encountered any trouble and discussed it with her, Sun Jia would help him with planning. At other times, Sun Jia would try not to show herself in front of Yang Ming. Sometimes, being an obedient little woman was also a very happy thing. Be careful. Contact me when you arrive and let me know that you are safe. Sun Jia told Yang Ming like a little wife sending her husband off. And, when I get there, I will call you. Yang Ming said, don't be too tired. If you can't handle the business in Donghai, let Ho Jinhan take over. His industry in Songjiang is basically handed to Bao Sonli. In the past year, Bao Sonli has also honed it. That's great. Uncle Sun San is so old. I really can't bear to let him be busy alone, so I helped him and didn't return to Songjiang. Sun Jia was delighted after listening to Yang Ming's words. It would be great if he could come over. Then I will wait for you to come back, and then I will be free. Sun Jia smiled. After calling Sun Jia, Yang Ming suddenly remembered that he hadn't informed his parents about his departure. He couldn't help but feel ashamed. Since he came back from Africa, he only talked to his parents. He didn't have time to go back, and now he had to leave again. Although his parents now had jobs and lived a fulfilling life every day, Yang Ming knew that every time he went back to visit them, they were very happy. Thinking of this, Yang Ming quickly called his father. Big Ming. Yang Dehai was in a meeting at the company when he received a call from Yang Ming. Dad, I have to go out. I may be gone for half a month. Yang Ming was really embarrassed. During this time, he was with Qin Mengyan and Lin Jiyun. He forgot to go home. Oh. Didn't you just come back? Why are you going out again? Yang Dehai was stunned and asked. And, there are some things that I have to deal with. Yang Ming said. Well, you be careful. After you come back, contact me. Our family hasn't eaten together for a long time. Yang Dehai said this and sighed. His son had a promising future. He was very happy in his heart, but sometimes when he saw his son not at home, his heart was still empty. He didn't know if it was better for Yang Ming to stay at home all day in high school or if it was better now that he had a promising future. This was a difficult thing to compare. Yang Dehai felt that it was really complicated. And, I got it. When I come back, I will visit you and Mom. Yang Ming said. Give your mother a call and tell her. Yang Dehai said. I will call her now. Yang Ming responded quickly. After hanging up his father's call, Yang Ming called his mother again. Mother Yang was now a property manager. She wasn't very busy every day, but she was very carefree. Especially after the property company was acquired by the Mingyang Security Company a few days ago, Mother Yang's days were better. It was said that the boss of the Mingyang Security Company, Bao Sonli, and her son were close friends, so the people in the company respected Mother Yang very much. Sometimes when she went to the head office, the boss of the head office would be respectful to her. This made Mother Yang very happy. Big Ming. Why did you suddenly call Mom? When Mother Yang mentioned her son in the property company, she had a sense of pride. Other people were also very envious of Mother Yang for having a promising son. Now, everyone in the property knew that Mother Yang's son and the CEO of the Mingyang Security Company, which was the superior of the Mingyang Property Company's headquarters, were good buddies. With this relationship, Mother Yang was very popular. In the past, many of Mother Yang's colleagues were not convinced that she could become a property manager. Mother Yang didn't have any academic qualifications nor qualifications. Some well-informed people even found out that she used to be a part-time worker in the community office who was responsible for cleaning. Later on, she was fired. So there were all kinds of rumors about her behind her back. However, since the manager of the Mingyang Property Company's headquarters, Di Lei, came down to inspect the work and was very respectful to Mother Yang, everyone immediately became silent. Mother Yang was a person with a big background. Especially after they heard that, not to mention Delay, even Delay's boss, Bao Sonli, was a close friend of Mother Yang's son, Yang Ming. So, those who used to speak ill of Mother Yang quickly took the initiative to admit their mistakes to Mother Yang and express their determination. "Mom, I have to go out. It may take half a month. I just told Dad." Yang Ming said. "Oh. Going out again." When Mother Yang heard that Yang Ming was going out again, she was a little disappointed. Yang Ming came back, but he didn't go home to visit, and he was going to leave. "I have no choice. It's a business matter," Yang Ming said. "Oh. Then don't delay." When Mother Yang heard that it was a business matter, she quickly stopped saying anything. "Be careful and take care of your body. Don't get sick. I will pay attention," Yang Ming said. "Right, Big Ming, your fifth cousin came to me a few days ago." Mother Yang said until here, and she was hesitant. "Yu Chi." "Mom, why is he looking for you?" Yang Ming asked. "Just say it. I'm your son. Why can't you say it to me?" "Big Ming, your fifth cousin doesn't dare to look for you, but he asked me to intercede with you. His girlfriend made a mistake in your friend's company. Can you not ask your friend to fire her?" When Yang Ming heard his mother's words, he knew that she was pleading for Wang Xiaoran. Yang Ming knew about this. Bao Sonli and Ho Jinhan gave Wang Xiaoran the last chance to admit her mistake, but Wang Xiaoran didn't take the initiative to admit her mistake, so Bao Sonli fired her from the company. "Mom, what do you think?" Yang Ming just wanted to ask his mother's opinion. "Yang Ming, we are all relatives. Can you help her to see if you can help her to forget about this matter? The child also knows her mistake. Your fifth cousin brought her to our house to apologize." Mother Yang said, "I don't think the girl is an evil person. Let's be lenient when possible." Yang Ming thought, how can good and evil be seen from the face? If it can be seen, the bad guys in this world would have been caught long ago. Yang Ming also knew that his mother had a good heart. He sighed. "Mom, have you promised him?" "Big Ming, you don't blame Mom, right?" When Mother Yang heard Yang Ming ask this, she was a little embarrassed. "I think the two of them are very pitiful. Your fifth cousin really likes her, so I don't want to make things difficult for the child, so I agreed for you. Since you have spoken, I don't have to give face to fifth cousin, but you are my mother. I still have to listen to what you say." Yang Ming said helplessly, "Let's do this. I will call Bao Sonli." "That's great. I am also very happy to see these two children do well." Mother Yang said happily, "Who can't make a mistake? It's fine as long as they change." Chapter 1355. Although Yang Ming felt that it was unfair to Jing Xiaolu not to fire Wang Xiaoran, his mother was begging him. How could he not give this face? Even if he didn't give face to others, he couldn't not give face to his mother. Yang Ming had to agree, but it depended on Wang Xiaoran's luck. If she was still unrepentant and did something unforgivable, then he really couldn't tolerate her anymore. Thinking of this, Yang Ming said, "Mom, but this is only once. If she makes any mistakes again, I can't do anything about it. Once is enough. I think that child knows how to change." Mother Yang quickly said. It seemed that Yu Qi and Wang Xiaoran did not tell their mother that he was the chairman of the company. For some reason, did they think that their mother knew and didn't need to say it, or did they deliberately not say it? If they deliberately didn't say it, it seemed that Yu Qi and Wang Xiaoran still had some insight. He would let them go for now. In fact, how could Yu Qi and Wang Xiaoran be like what Yang Ming guessed? Yang Ming thought that they saw the secret of his behind-the-scenes identity, so they didn't dare to say it casually. In fact, Yu Qi and Wang Xiaoran didn't think about it at all. When Yu Qi entered the door, he played the emotional card. He kept calling him fifth cousin. If he called him the chairman, wouldn't it be unfamiliar? He was a relative, so naturally, he wouldn't say those official positions. After hanging up the phone, Yang Ming hesitated. I should discuss this with Jing Xiaolu first. I'm afraid that she will have some ideas. Yang Ming. Jing Xiaolu was a little happy. She thought that after she separated from Yang Ming, it would be a long time before she could hear Yang Ming's voice. She didn't expect Yang Ming to call her again. It should be before boarding the plane, right? Xiaolu, are you busy? Yang Ming was afraid that Jing Xiaolu was talking about the contract, so he asked first. I'm not busy. President Bao and I are on the way to Huihai Business Club. Jing Xiaolu said, What's the matter? I have something to discuss with you, said Yang Ming. Something? You want to discuss this with me? Jing Xiaolu was stunned. Listening to Yang Ming's sincere tone, Jing Xiaolu almost thought that Yang Ming had called the wrong number. If Yang Ming hadn't called her Xiaolu before, Jing Xiaolu really couldn't believe that Yang Ming would talk to her in such a tone. Yes. Yang Ming said, Is it convenient for you to talk? It's convenient. It's just me and President Bao. President Bao will drive the car, Jing Xiaolu said with some joy. Yang Ming's attitude surprised and delighted Jing Xiaolu. She didn't know what Yang Ming wanted to say. However, what was certain was that Yang Ming valued him very much. This is the case. It's about Wang Xiaoran. Yang Ming said, the company has fired her, right? And, she was fired a week ago. Jing Xiaolu said, what happened? Yu Qi, who is my fifth cousin, took Wang Xiaoran to beg my mother. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. My mother saw that she was very pitiful, so she agreed to help her. I just called my mother to say goodbye, and I found out about this. Ah. This is the case. What did Auntie say? Jing Xiaolu asked quickly. My mother agreed. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. I can't refuse my mother's words. Why don't I discuss it with you? Let's see if Wang Xiaoran can go back to work. Jing Xiaolu didn't expect Yang Ming to call her to discuss this. There was a sweetness in her heart for no reason. This showed that Yang Ming valued her very much and considered her feelings, so he called to discuss with her. Otherwise, Yang Ming had the right to decide whether to let Wang Xiaoran come back to work. Jing Xiaolu was naturally annoyed with this woman, Wang Xiaoran, but since it was Yang Ming's mother who pleaded, Jing Xiaolu certainly didn't want to care about it. She didn't dare to go against Yang Ming's mother. If she really went against her, would she still want to enter the Yang family in the future? Thinking of this, Jing Xiaolu smiled and thought of a plan. Does Auntie know why you fired her? I don't know. I didn't ask in detail. Yang Ming didn't know why Jing Xiaolu suddenly asked this. Well, leave this matter to me. I will give Auntie a satisfactory answer, said Jing Xiaolu. And, then I will have to trouble you this time. When Yang Ming heard Jing Xiaolu say this, he knew that she promised Wang Xiaoran to come back to work. If you trouble me, you have to treat me to a meal and buy me good things. Jing Xiaolu took the opportunity to ask Yang Ming for benefits. Okay, I will give it to you when we go back. Don't I have to accompany you to the class reunion? You definitely have to buy clothes before. I can go at that time, said Yang Ming. It's a deal. Jing Xiaolu was very happy in her heart. A full Wang Xiaoran can be exchanged for so many benefits. It's really worth it. Jing Xiaolu hoped that Wang Xiaoran would do something again after she came back, so that Yang Ming could still care about her once. Although Yang Ming would accompany her to attend the class reunion, He only said that he would accompany her if there was nothing. But what if there was something? It was better to be safe than sorry. Jing Xiaolu was still worried that there would be an accident. But now, Yang Ming directly said that he would accompany her to attend the class reunion and accompany her to go shopping. Then, this matter was settled. It definitely couldn't run away. Jing Xiaolu was delighted. A pinky promise cannot be changed for 100 years. Whoever changes is a puppy with white hair all over his body. Jing Xiaolu was afraid that Yang Ming would regret, so she said quickly. Yang Ming was speechless. Okay, pinky promise. Although Bao Sanli didn't want to eavesdrop on the phone call between Jing Xiaolu and Yang Ming, he still inevitably heard some. For a long time, Bao Sanli had been speculating about the real relationship between Yang Ming and Jing Xiaolu. He guessed that Jing Xiaolu was one of Yang Ming's women, but Bao Sanli used to be in charge of prostitution, so he also had a pair of discerning eyes. Judging from Jing Xiaolu's walking capital and figure, Jing Xiaolu should not have experienced the affairs between men and women. But between her and Yang Ming, it was definitely not as simple as ordinary friends. Hearing Jing Xiaolu acting coquettishly to Yang Ming just now, it was even more confirmed. However, although his eyesight was better, there were no absolutes. There might be times when he made a mistake. What can Brother Yang do? Bao Sanli waited for Jing Xiaolu to hang up the phone and asked. Yang Ming asked Wang Xiaoran to come back to work. Jing Xiaolu said, Yu Qi begged Auntie and asked Auntie to plead with Yang Ming. Yang Ming was afraid that I would be unhappy, so he told me, but how can I be so stingy? Auntie. That must be Yang Ming's mother. Bao Sanli thought. Thinking of this, Bao Sanli smiled and said, Of course, Xiaolu is not stingy. Since Brother Yang handed over the matter to you, then you are fully in charge. Even if Bao Sanli didn't ask her to be in charge, Jing Xiaolu would take the initiative to ask to be in charge of this matter. She still had some thoughts. She wanted to create an opportunity for herself through this matter. If she seized this opportunity, she believed that the road in the future would be much smoother. Yang Ming thought about it. There was no one else to call, so he turned off the phone. It was almost time to board the plane. Yang Ming and Fang Tian packed up and prepared to board the plane. Jing Xiaolu and Bao Sanli rushed to the Huihai Business Club and parked the car in the parking lot at the entrance of the club. There was also a Jinbei business van with them. Their lawyers and staff were sitting on it. Today, Su Xiaobin came to the conference room rented in the Huihai Business Club very early. He didn't know why Lu Jifei was so concerned about this matter today. He came to the office with his lawyers and staff early in the morning, urging them to go to the business club early to prepare. What is there to prepare? The contract has been confirmed. Just sign the contract directly. However, seeing that the staff brought by Lu Jifei were busy setting up the conference room, Su Xiaobin thought, this should be to leave a good impression on the other party. Looking at Lu Jifei's staff, not only did they light vases, tea, and even incense. Isn't this too exaggerated? You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.